Chapter 506. As he looked at Wang Qiuer's pitiful expression, Lu Yuan's heart softened. Wang Qiuer was extremely beautiful, and she looked so pitiful. Her lethality was too great, and even Lu Yuan couldn't resist her. Lu Yuan wanted to glare at her again, but he quickly retracted that thought, and his gaze became a lot gentler. He was someone who could be persuaded by reason, but not cowed by force. As he looked at Wang Qiuer, he couldn't bear to continue scolding her. Jiu Yuana was indeed a sensitive girl. She had a good grasp of Lu Yuan's character. Wang Qiuer's pitiful act today was very effective. As she looked at Lu Yuan's gentler expression, Wang Qiuer laughed in her heart. Sister Nea was right. Brother really likes this. Lu Yuan naturally didn't know what Wang Qiuer was thinking. After looking at her, Lu Yuan retracted his gaze. He looked at the students in front of him, and his expression became serious. My name is Lu Yuan. I'm sure everyone here has heard of me, even if you haven't seen me before. Lu Yuan's plain voice sounded. Upon hearing this, all the students gently nodded their heads. There was not a single person who was able to enter the inner academy who did not know the name Lu Yuan. He was the true master of this academy and was previously the dean of the academy. Some of them had even seen Lu Yuan before. Since everyone knows who I am, I won't introduce myself. I'm here today because I have something important to announce to everyone. Everyone knows that the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament is about to begin. Our academy is also starting to form a team for this tournament. After my discussion with Dean Liu Erlong, the main members of the team have been decided. I'll explain it to everyone here. Lu Yuan said plainly. We choose the team based on their abilities. We won't be biased. If anyone has any opinions about the team's roster, you can raise them. We advocate fairness and openness. Since we're choosing representatives for the tournament, we'll make sure all the students are convinced. Next, I'm going to announce the name list of the participating students. Those whose names have been announced, please stand up. The first member is the captain of the Heavenly Star Academy, Lu Yuan, who is also me. Does anyone have any objections to this? Lu Yuan's gaze swept across the room. A strong aura rose from his feet and instantly filled the entire classroom. I have no objections. Under the pressure of Lu Yuan's powerful aura, the students present felt as if a mountain was pressing down on them. That powerful pressure made them feel a little suffocated. Immediately, the students looked at Lu Yuan with great shock in their eyes. The strength of the former Dean Lu was definitely far beyond their imagination. Naturally, they wouldn't have the slightest objection to having such a powerful person as the captain. No objections. That's good. Now, let's announce the second member of the battle team. The second member of the battle team is also the vice-captain of the Heavenly Star battle team. She is Zhu Zhuqing. Does anyone have any objections to this? As Lu Yuan's voice faded, Zhu Zhuqing, who was beside him, took a step forward. Do I have any objections? A tall and sturdy youth stood up and said. Do you have any objections? Lu Yuan asked. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, the youth said loudly, I feel that the vice-captain should have sufficient strength. We don't know her, and we don't know how strong she is. She needs to prove herself. Prove it, right? Sure, Zhuqing. Lu Yuan's gaze turned to Zhu Zhuqing, who was beside him. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. Her body shone with a black light. Accompanied by a low shout, the superb martial soul, 9 Lives Lynx, was attached to her body. Yellow, purple, black, and black soul rings rippled under Zhu Zhuqing's body. Soul King. 10,000 years 4th soul ring? Looking at the soul rings under Zhu Zhuqing's feet, the youth's face was filled with shock. It was as if he had seen something unbelievable. It wasn't just her. Other than Ning Rongrong, Dugu Yang, and a few other people who knew about it, the rest of the people sucked in a breath of cold air. Their eyes were filled with shock. Such a young soul king with 4 rings in 10,000 years gave them a huge shock. Zhu Zhuqing, 14 years old, a rank 51 soul king. Does anyone have any objections to her being the vice-captain of the Heavenly Star battle team? No objections. Everyone was shocked by Lu Yuan's words. A 14-year-old soul king. What kind of talent was that? How could they dare to have any objections? Since no one has any objections, I'll continue to announce the name list. Lu Yuan said plainly, the third team member, Dugu Yang. The fourth team member, Ning Rongrong. The remaining team members are Fu Qinsheng, Ling Wei, and Wang Qiu'er, who just joined the inner courtyard not long ago. They're all soul ancestors. I don't think anyone has any objections, right? Lu Yuan looked at the remaining people. No objections. The remaining people looked at each other, and there was an obvious look of regret on their faces. However, they were convinced. They were only soul elders, and they couldn't blame anyone for not being chosen. The above 7 people are the official members of this battle team. Apart from the official members, I'm also prepared to choose 2 substitutes in case of emergencies. Jiang Zhu, Jing Ling, the 2 of you will be chosen. The battle team already has enough assault-type members. Huang Yuan, Tai Long, I'm sorry this time. Lu Yuan said softly. Lu Yuan was right. He had Wang Qiu'er, and Ling Wei, who had the Terrorclaw Bear Martial Soul, with the Golden Dragon Martial Soul. It was enough. Huang Yuan and Tai Long were both assault-type martial souls. Lu Yuan didn't really need them. On the other hand, Jiang Zhu and Jing Ling were more useful. After all, Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing weren't going to fight at the start of the battle. The 2 of them were more or less enough. As for whether it would be inappropriate to have 2 control-type and 2 support-type soul masters in the team, Lu Yuan wasn't worried at all. As long as they didn't meet those strong teams, their current combination was more than enough to sweep through them. If they did meet a strong team, Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing could also fight at any time. Therefore, there was nothing to be afraid of. In other words, Tai Long was also one of these people. He was from the clan of strength, and Lu Yuan naturally couldn't let him fight. However, he was the strongest among the remaining people. Therefore, Lu Yuan needed a valid reason to not choose him as a substitute. After all, they were in the academy, and he had to convince all the students when he did things. Coincidentally, there were too many assault-type soul masters, and that was a good excuse. Alright, the 9 of you will be participating in the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament. There are still 3 months until the tournament. In these 3 months, I'll let everyone practice. This time, we don't ask for anything else. We only have one goal, and that is to be the champion. Lu Yuan's eyes shone with a shocking light as he spoke. Chapter 507. We only have one goal, and that is to become the champion, Lu Yuan said indifferently, his tone full of confidence. Champion. Influenced by Lu Yuan's confidence, the remaining members were all excited and full of fighting spirit. After all, they were all youths in their teens. It was the time when they were young and frivolous. Who didn't have a bit of hot-bloodedness in their hearts? Alright, the members of the team have been selected. I will make plans for the following run-in and team training. In 3 days, the official training will begin. Everyone, get ready. Official members, follow me. I have something to tell you. With that, Lu Yuan turned and left the classroom. Zhu Zhuqing naturally followed closely behind. Ning Rongrong, Wang Qiu'er, and the others also hurriedly followed. In an empty training ground, Lu Yuan and the others appeared. Looking at the familiar figures in front of him, Lu Yuan's eyes swept over them, and finally stopped at the first youth on the left. Brother Fu, we haven't seen each other for many years. I didn't expect to meet you in Heavenly Star Academy this time. Looking at Fu Qinsheng in front of him, Lu Yuan said softly. This Fu Qinsheng was the same Fu Qinsheng that he had met in the Life Ruins. The Zither sect had been recruited by the Dragon King Palace, and Fu Qinsheng had naturally become a subordinate of the Dragon King Palace. He had transferred to Heavenly Star Academy to study. It had to be said that the Dragon King Palace had developed rapidly. In just a year, they had actually developed their influence into the Sionra Empire. They had even recruited the Zither sect, which was not much weaker than the 4 great sects. It could be said that Yang Shaozhe was quite capable. Lu Yuan didn't know how he did it, but being able to recruit the Zither sect was a good thing. This was a power that only recruited commoners. In the past, Lu Yuan had a very good impression of it. After all, he came from the Martial Soul Palace, and most of the talents in the Martial Soul Palace were actually commoners. Commoners were the biggest supporters of the Martial Soul Palace. Furthermore, the Martial Soul Palace was one of the few places that didn't discriminate against commoner soul masters. It wasn't like the sects that were passed down through blood ties, where commoner soul masters didn't have any status. The Zither sect's methods were rather unique, so Lu Yuan had always kept it in mind and had a very deep impression of it. Hall Master. Fu Qinsheng bowed towards Lu Yuan. Things were different now. Back then, he and Lu Yuan were peers. But now, Lu Yuan was the lord of the Dragon King Palace and he was a member of the Dragon King Palace. So, he must show enough respect to Lu Yuan. Brother Fu, you don't have to be like this. This is not the Dragon King Palace. We don't have to pay attention to formalities. In the academy, you can just call me by my name, or call me Captain. Lu Yuan said with a gentle smile. Yes, Hall. Captain. Fu Qinsheng said. He naturally didn't dare to call Lu Yuan by his name. After all, even though Lu Yuan said that, there was a difference in seniority. As a subordinate, he had to show respect. However, it was fine to call him Captain. Looking at him, Lu Yuan roughly knew what he was thinking. He didn't force him, and turned to look at the youth beside Fu Qinsheng. You're Ling Wei, elder Ling Ruoxu's grandson? Lu Yuan asked plainly. Ling Ruoxu was the captain of one of the 4 enforcement teams in the Law Enforcement Hall. He was a rank 81 soul Douluo, and his martial soul was the Dark Golden Bear. The Dark Golden Bear was also a top-tier martial soul. Its physical body was extremely strong, and it wasn't inferior to Zhao Wuji's Strength Vaja Bear. In fact, it was even stronger. Ling Wei's martial soul was a little mutated. The original Dark Golden Bear had mutated into a Terraclaw Bear. Even though its physical body was weaker, its offensive strength was greatly increased. Even the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon's offensive strength wasn't comparable to the Terraclaw Bear's. As he thought until here, Lu Yuan thought of a transcendent soul beast, the Dark Golden Terraclaw Bear. It was the soul beast from which Lu Yuan's third soul ring came. The Dark Golden Terraclaw Bear was extremely strong. It was said that it couldn't appear as a human's martial soul. It was just like the Dark Demon Evil Tiger. Normally, it would appear in a human's body after being weakened. For example, the Dark Golden Bear and Ling Wei's Terraclaw Bear both belonged to the Dark Golden Terraclaw Bear's bloodline. It was just a weakened version. However, even if it was a weakened version, it could still be considered a top-tier martial soul. If it was a complete Dark Golden Terraclaw Bear, it would undoubtedly be a transcendent martial soul. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ling Wei hurriedly bowed and said, "Yes, Hallmaster." "Okay." Lu Yuan nodded and said, "Since we're in the academy, you can call me Captain like Brother Fu. You don't have to call me Hallmaster." "Yes, Captain." Ling Wei said. You're now at rank 41, and Brother Fu is now at rank 42. There's still about 3 months before the tournament begins. In these 3 months, I'll be refining a few batches of Spirit Ascension pills. When the time comes, I'll give each of you a bottle. It should be able to increase your soul power by 2 to 3 ranks. Lu Yuan said indifferently. "Thank you, Captain." The two of them looked at each other, a look of joy in their eyes as they thanked Lu Yuan. "No need to thank me. When the time comes for the tournament, just put in more effort." Lu Yuan said softly. "Yes, Captain. We'll definitely do our best. We won't let you down." As they said that, a look of determination flashed in their eyes. "It's good that you two have such intentions. There's nothing else to do here for now. The two of you can leave first. In 3 days, gather here again." Lu Yuan said softly. "Yes, Captain." The two of them bowed again before turning around and leaving. After the two of them left, only Lu Yuan, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Du Guyang, Wang Chua, and Ma Xiaodao, who was always protecting Lu Yuan, were left in the arena. As for the fellows and Liu Erlong, they had already returned to their office. He glanced at Du Guyang. "In the past year, the poison in your body hasn't relapsed, right?" Lu Yuan asked softly. No. Captain, the pills you refined were very effective. Dugu Yang blinked her beautiful eyes and said softly, "It's good that it didn't relapse. In theory, the pills you refined back then could suppress the poison for 4 years. You're now at rank 47, and not far from rank 50. Try to break through to Soul King in the remaining time. When that happens, you'll be able to condense a poison pill and completely control the poison in your body. Then, you won't have to worry about the poison backfiring. Furthermore, once you successfully condense a poison pill, your cultivation speed will greatly increase. As long as you work hard, you won't have a problem surpassing Senior Dugu in the future. As for the Spirit Ascension pills, you've already consumed 5 of them. Consuming more won't have any effect. Therefore, you won't have a share of the Spirit Ascension pills this time." Lu Yuan said. "Yes, I know." Dugu Yang nodded and said. Chapter 508. Ian, I know. Dugu Yang quietly looked at Lu Yuan, her eyes flashing with a strange light, and said softly, "Ian, it's good that you know." Facing Dugu Yang's slightly bright eyes, Lu Yuan couldn't help but slightly tilt his head. Sometimes, too much charm was a mistake. If he wasn't mistaken, Dugu Yang should have a good impression of him. After all, the look in her eyes just now could explain a lot of things. However, Dugu Yang having a good impression of him was Dugu Yang's business, and he couldn't take the initiative to provoke her. After all, he already had 4 girlfriends. He had to consider their feelings, and he couldn't let his own temper do as he pleased. It was true that the dragon's nature was like that, but it had to be controlled and not ignored. After all, no matter what, he was still a human, not a dragon. He just had the blood of the dragon clan. Sighing softly, Lu Yuan's gaze turned to Ning Rongrong. If Dugu Yang and he had only occasionally met a few times, and only had a good impression of him, then Ning Rongrong's feelings for him were quite deep. He could turn a blind eye to Dugu Yang's good impression, but for Ning Rongrong, he might not be able to really not have any fluctuations in his heart. People's hearts are made of flesh, and he had always seen Ning Rongrong's feelings for him. If it wasn't for the fact that he had always been worried about Ning Rongrong's character, he might have accepted Ning Rongrong long ago. Lu Yuan's gaze fell on Ning Rongrong's body, and the first thing he saw was Ning Rongrong's beautiful face and her bright eyes that were filled with burning emotions. "Rongrong, long time no see." Looking at Ning Rongrong, Lu Yuan revealed a smile. "Lu Yuan." Ning Rongrong stared blankly at Lu Yuan, her pair of sapphire-like eyes were engraved with longing. She looked at Lu Yuan quietly. Suddenly, she took a step forward and pounced on Lu Yuan. Before Lu Yuan could react, a burst of fragrant wind suddenly assaulted him. Ning Rongrong directly threw herself into his embrace, a pair of jade-like arms tightly hugging Lu Yuan's waist, her charming face pressed against his chest. Being hugged by Ning Rongrong, Lu Yuan's body suddenly stiffened. He didn't expect Ning Rongrong to be so bold as to directly throw herself at him and hug him. After all, Zhu Zhuqing was still by his side. After all, there were other people watching. However, Ning Rongrong still dared to pounce on him. Should I say, as expected of the little witch? Doing things his own way and not caring about the opinions of others? But the more you act like this, the more I don't dare to accept you. Lu Yuan's lips curled into a wry smile. He didn't want his harmonious harem to be on fire because of Ning Rongrong. If she wanted Lu Yuan to accept her, she would have to change her little demoness personality. Otherwise, the possibility of that happening was really slim. Feeling Zhu Zhuqing's somewhat strange gaze, Lu Yuan couldn't help but raise his hand, wanting to push Ning Rongrong away. However, just as he raised his hand, Ning Rongrong had already taken the initiative to leave his embrace. She stood in front of Lu Yuan, her beautiful eyes carefully sizing up Lu Yuan's handsome face, a trace of infatuation flashing across her eyes. "Lu Yuan, where have you been this year? You weren't here, and Zhuqing wasn't here either. I've been so bored this year." Looking at Lu Yuan, Ning Rongrong said softly, "During this year, Zhuqing and I had some urgent matters to attend to, so we couldn't leave. I really do apologize for making you wait here alone for a year," Lu Yuan said with a hint of guilt in his voice. After all, when he and Zhu Zhuqing had left, There had only been him, Zhu Zhuqing, Du Guyang, and Ning Rongrong in the inner court. Now that he and Zhu Zhuqing had left, it was inevitable that Ning Rongrong would feel lonely. It's all right, you two also had urgent matters to attend to. It's not like you didn't come back on purpose. Ning Rongrong waved a hand in a nonchalant manner upon hearing Lu Yuan's words. Lu Yuan smiled upon hearing that, and said, Rongrong, I can see that your cultivation base has been progressing very quickly over the past year. You're already at rank 42, you must have suffered a lot, right? It wasn't too bad. It's just that you weren't around for the past year, so I had no choice but to work hard in my cultivation. On top of that, the beautiful silk tulip you gave me improved my aptitude, so I was able to progress 5 tiers in just a year. Come to think of it, even I'm finding it a little hard to believe that I've progressed at such a rapid rate. Ning Rongrong looked at Lu Yuan with a smile, and said, in the past, I was only able to progress 3 or 4 levels in a year at most, yet I've progressed 5 levels this year. Most of the credit for this can be attributed to the beautiful silk tulip you gave me. Thank you, Lu Yuan. No, the beautiful silk tulip was only a supplementary item. The fact that you were able to progress 5 levels in a year was all due to your own hard work. Lu Yuan raised a hand to ruffle Ning Rongrong's hair, and said, there's a sense of valiance in your eyes that you didn't have in the past, and the look in your eyes has also become more determined. You must have undergone some kind of training during the past year. My eyesight is very good, you can't hide that from me. Rongrong, to be honest, I'm very pleased to see that you're also working so hard. Lu Yuan said in a gentle voice. In the past, Ning Rongrong had been slacking in her cultivation, so she hadn't been very enthusiastic about it. Otherwise, with her family background and foundation, she would have been able to reach rank 29 at the age of 12 without any issues. However, during the past year, Ning Rongrong had undergone a massive change. The valiance in her eyes and the determination in her eyes indicated that she had already undergone a metamorphosis, and this came as quite a surprise to Lu Yuan. It seemed that Ning Rongrong had also matured significantly. Ning Rongrong listened to Lu Yuan's words and sensed the warmth from his large hand that was gently rubbing her head, and a hint of elation welled up from the bottom of her heart. She had done so much just to show Lu Yuan how much she had improved. Now, Lu Yuan's praise was the best reward for her. Is Uncle Ning doing well? Lu Yuan asked. My father is doing very well. It's just that the sect doesn't have enough soul tools, and you haven't returned. We couldn't find a way to replenish our soul tools even if we wanted to. Now that you're back, can you spare some time to help us craft some soul tools? Ning Rongrong grabbed Lu Yuan's large hand that was on her head and clasped her hands together. She held it in her palms, and there was a pleading look on her face. Of course. There are still more than 3 months until the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament. We still have plenty of time to craft some soul tools. When I'm free, I'll craft some soul tools for you. Lu Yuan smiled as he replied. All right, thank you, Lu Yuan. You're so nice. As Ning Rongrong spoke, she took 2 steps forward and tiptoed. She quickly pecked Lu Yuan's face, and Lu Yuan's body suddenly stiffened. Chapter 509. Had he been ambushed by Ning Rongrong again? This thought flashed through Lu Yuan's mind. A year ago, when he had given Ning Rongrong the beautiful silk tulip, Ning Rongrong had ambushed him, and she had done it again today. Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile wryly as he sensed Zhu Zhuqing's increasingly cold and peculiar gaze. This time, it was even harder to explain. Ning Rongrong, this girl, was really bold. TSK, little brother my lord, is this the 5th one? Ma Xiaotao's voice sounded just as Lu Yuan was in a daze. She was sizing up Lu Yuan with her beautiful eyes as she clicked her tongue from time to time. The 5th one. Ning Rongrong looked at Ma Xiaodao with a puzzled expression. As far as she knew, didn't Lu Yuan only have 3 girlfriends? Even if he wanted to tease her, he should have said the 4th one. How could it be the 5th one? Could it be that Lu Yuan had found another girlfriend? However, if Lu Yuan had really found another girlfriend, wouldn't that mean that her chances had increased? After all, if he could accept others, then he would definitely be able to accept her. Ning Rongrong encouraged herself in her heart as she looked straight at Lu Yuan with a scorching gaze. At this moment, Ning Rongrong was particularly bold. Sister Xiaodao, are you the only one who talks too much? Sensing that Ning Rongrong's gaze had become even more scorching, Lu Yuan couldn't help but glance at Ma Xiaodao. Ning Rongrong was already very bold, so why did you have to add fuel to the fire? Do you know what you're doing is putting me in a very difficult position as the Lord? Hee. Ma Xiaodao giggled as Lu Yuan glanced at her. She didn't seem to care at all. After being together for more than a year, she had already grasped Lu Yuan's character very clearly. As long as one didn't touch the people around him or touch his bottom line, then this little brother my lord was actually very easy to get along with. Although she was the noble lord, she never put on any airs towards her subordinates and rarely got angry. Therefore, when she saw Lu Yuan's indifferent glance, not only was Ma Xiaodao not afraid, she even giggled. It was quite interesting to see her master's younger brother like this. Lu Yuan, who is this big sister? Ning Rongrong couldn't help but ask curiously as she looked at the smiling Ma Xiaodao. Her name is Ma Xiaodao. She is also one of the elders of our Dragon King Palace. She is usually responsible for my safety. You can call her Sister Xiaodao. Lu Yuan said. Elder. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but be surprised. Such a young elder. Sister Xiaodao may look young, but she's already a rank 95 transcendent Douluo. She's very powerful. Lu Yuan said softly. Then how old is Sister Xiaodao? I think she's a little too young, Ning Rongrong asked softly. Sister Xiaodao is only 30 years old this year. 30 years old, rank 95? After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but exclaim. She was extremely shocked. She had never heard of such a young transcendent Douluo. It wasn't just her. Even Dugu Yang's mouth was wide open. Her pretty face was full of astonishment. 30 years old, rank 95. Is this a joke? This talent was a little too strong, wasn't it? It was simply a little shocking. Compared to her, even the youngest titled Douluo on the continent, the vast sky Douluo Tang Hao, who was rumored to have broken through at the age of 44, wasn't worth mentioning. Seeing the shock on the two girls' faces, Lu Yuan smiled faintly. With Ma Xiaotao's talent, she was extremely rare on the continent. There were less than 5 people on the continent who could compare to her. However, Lu Yuan's voice sounded again. However what? Ning Rongrong couldn't help but ask. However, even though Sister Xiaodao is extremely talented, she's very impulsive. She's also very carefree. She doesn't seem like a woman at all. She's more like a tomboy. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ma Xiaotao's expression froze. Her master's little brother actually called her a tomboy. Immediately, she widened her pink eyes and glared fiercely at Lu Yuan. However, Lu Yuan didn't care at all. Who asked this woman to fan the flames? He had to repay her, right? Lu Yuan smiled and turned to look at Wang Chou, who was standing to one side without saying a word. She was sizing him up. Chou, come over here. Lu Yuan said plainly as he looked at Wang Chou. Elder brother. After being called out by Lu Yuan, Wang Chou took small steps and jumped into Lu Yuan's embrace. Her arms wrapped around Lu Yuan's neck, and her legs wrapped around Lu Yuan's waist. She hung on to Lu Yuan's body. Elder brother. Wang Chou called out softly as she sized up Lu Yuan with her big, pinkish blue eyes. Lu Yuan's heart softened when he saw the familiar look of attachment in Wang Chou's eyes. Wang Chou was still attached to her elder brother, just like she was in the Great Star Do Forest. Back in the Great Star Do Forest, Wang Chou liked to pounce on him when he was cultivating or meditating. She would burrow into his embrace and gently rub her head against him. Sometimes, she would even stick out her tongue and lick his cheek. He didn't expect her to still be like this even after transforming into her human form. As he looked at Wang Chou's flawless face, Lu Yuan had to admit that Wang Chou was a great beauty in her human form. Wang Chou was different from how she was in the original novel. Back then, Tang San had attached Tang Wutong's soul to the three-eyed golden lion. That was why Wang Chou looked like Tang Wutong when she transformed. Right now, Wang Chou'er was in her original form. As the emperor beast, three-eyed golden lion, Wang Chou'er's human form was indeed befitting of her status. She was extremely beautiful. However, even though he was soft-hearted, he still had to say what he had to say. Who allowed you to run out? Do you know how dangerous it is outside? Lu Yuan extended his left hand and gently wrapped it around Wang Chou'er's waist to help her share some of her weight. However, there was a stern look in his eyes. I know, but I miss elder brother. I want to see elder brother. Wang Chou'er's eyes sparkled. There were no impurities in her sparkling eyes, only pure attachment and longing. As he looked at Wang Chou'er's pure and flawless eyes, Lu Yuan couldn't bring himself to scold her. Forget it. She only ran out because she missed him. I'll let her off for now. Does your elder sister Enea know that you're out? Lu Yuan asked. Elder sister Enea knows. I told her about it, and she allowed it, Wang Chou'er said softly. Oh. When he heard this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but raise his brows. She knows about Enea? Chapter 5:10. Oh. Enea knows. Lu Yuan was a little surprised. He had thought that Chou'er had snuck out on her own. He didn't expect her to report to Jiu Yuana, and Jiu Yuana had even agreed to let her in. Didn't she know how important Chou'er's safety was? She was the Great Star Do Forest's destiny. If anything happened to her, the Great Star Do Forest would be finished. How could Enea dare to let her out? There was a look of confusion on Lu Yuan's face. He looked at Wang Chou'er and asked, Chou'er, did Enea say anything to you when you came out? Did she send anyone to protect you? Yes. She said that I have to listen to everything you say when I see you outside. I have to stay by your side. I can't run around like before, and I can't be naughty. Otherwise, she'll get Auntie ZG to bring me back, Wang Chou'er said. ZG is here too? Did Enea send her to protect you? Lu Yuan asked. Yes, Auntie ZG has been protecting me all this time. Sister Enea said that she's my personal bodyguard or something like that. Auntie ZG should be watching us from the shadows right now. It's just that I don't know where she is. Wang Chou'er tilted her head and looked around as if she were looking for someone. Oh. Lu Yuan scanned his surroundings, and his polychoria flashed. Suddenly, Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed. In a dark corner, a purple figure appeared before his eyes. Judging by her appearance, it was Violet. Come out. Why are you hiding? ZG was very well hidden. Even Ma Xiaodao, a rank 95 transcendent Douluo, didn't discover her. However, she couldn't hide from Hua Yuhao's polychoria. Lu Yuan's polychoria could be said to be able to see through all kinds of strange objects and detect all kinds of evil spirits. When he was prepared, unless it was a god, no one could hide around him without being discovered. When his abilities reached a certain level, even gods couldn't hide from his polychoria. My lord, your senses are so sharp. Sensing Lu Yuan's gaze on her hiding spot, Violet knew that Lu Yuan had discovered her whereabouts. She didn't bother hiding and walked out. However, she was still quite surprised by the fact that Tang Wulin didn't appear to be of a very high rank, but his senses were astonishingly powerful. Her current powers were comparable to that of a rank 97 titled Douluo, and in addition to the fact that she was a demonic infernal dragon monarch, only a human at the pinnacle of rank 98 would be able to defeat her. But he didn't expect Lu Yuan to discover it so easily. Should I say, as expected of a golden dragon in human form? His perception was so sensitive. Violet's footsteps were light, but her speed wasn't slow at all. In the blink of an eye, she was already beside Lu Yuan and the others. My lord, long time no see. Sizing up Lu Yuan, who was tall and handsome, ZG threw a strange look at Lu Yuan and laughed softly. Yes, long time no see. I didn't expect you to be the one protecting Chou'er this time. I thought it was the Scarlet King and the others, Lu Yuan said plainly as he looked at ZG, who was extremely seductive and had an explosive figure. How can the Scarlet King and the others take care of Miss Rui? Miss Chou'er? They're all so silly, and will only cause trouble. That's why my lord sent me here. ZG laughed softly. Apart from asking you to protect Cho-er, did Na ask you to pass any message to me? Lu Yuan asked softly. Well, she didn't. Ziji shrugged and said. Are you sure? Lu Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly as he looked at Ziji, who was smiling. His sharp eyes stared straight at Ziji, and there was a trace of coldness in his eyes. Ziji was startled when she saw Lu Yuan's eyes. She couldn't help but feel a little puzzled. This lord is only so powerful, but why is his gaze so oppressive? Furthermore, the pressure in his gaze made Ziji's heart tremble a little. A golden dragon is a golden dragon. With such power and pressure, it's no wonder he's one of the most powerful dragons. She was much stronger than Lu Yuan, but in terms of the quality and purity of her bloodline, she couldn't compare to Lu Yuan. Haha, my lord, I'm just kidding. My lord still has some words for you. Ziji chuckled and hurriedly relayed Jiu Yuana's words to Lu Yuan. So that's how it is. After hearing Ziji's words, Lu Yuan's gaze became much gentler. He looked at Ziji and said, since Na wants you to listen to my arrangements, you and Cho-er will temporarily join the Dragon King's palace. I'm preparing to form a Dragon King's Imperial Guard, and I'm still short of one person. You can take care of it for now. As for Cho-er, Lu Yuan turned to Wang Cho-er and said, you'll stay with me in the future. With Sister Xiaodao and Elder Long protecting you, no one will be able to hurt you. Yes, I'll listen to you. I'll do whatever you ask me to do. Wang Cho-er nodded her little head as she looked at Lu Yuan. She looked very obedient. Good, Cho-er. Lu Yuan gently stroked Wang Cho-er's bright golden hair. Her hair was smooth and soft, and it felt good to the touch. Come down. So many people are watching. Lu Yuan smiled as he gently pinched Wang Cho-er's cheeks. All right. Wang Cho-er pouted and kissed Lu Yuan's face. After that, she let go of Lu Yuan's neck and jumped down gently. However, after landing on the ground, she still held onto Lu Yuan's arm and refused to let go. Her attachment to Lu Yuan was beyond words. After being kissed by Wang Cho-er, Lu Yuan didn't feel anything other than a faint warmth. It was very different from when Ning Rongrong had kissed him earlier. One was kinship, while the other was love between a man and a woman. They were completely different. Let me introduce her to everyone. This is Wang Cho-er, and she's also my younger sister. Lu Yuan said softly as he looked at the few people in front of him. Is she your younger sister? She's so pretty. Ning Rongrong was curious as she looked at Wang Cho-er, who was hugging Lu Yuan's arm tightly. Was this Lu Yuan's younger sister? They didn't look very alike, but they had one thing in common. Both of them were very good-looking, so good-looking that it was a little ridiculous. Ning Rongrong was very proud of her own looks. She felt that she wasn't too far off from Zhu Zhuqing in terms of looks. It was just that her figure was slightly inferior to Zhu Zhuqing's. However, it was only when she saw Wang Cho-er that she realized that there was such a beautiful girl in the world. Even a girl like her couldn't help but be in awe. She had to admit that she wasn't as pretty as Wang Cho-er. Furthermore, this difference could be seen with the naked eye. Chapter 511. After hearing Ning Rongrong's words and seeing her shocked expression, Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Wang Cho-er was naturally one of the prettiest girls in the world. In terms of looks, she was definitely on the same level as Chihiro Snow and Jiu Yuana. She was still young now, and hadn't fully matured. When she grew up and fully unleashed her charm, she would definitely be a femme fatale. This wasn't an exaggeration. Wang Cho-er had such potential. She was just that beautiful. As he looked at Wang Cho-er, Lu Yuan smiled and said, Cho-er, greet her. This is Ning Rongrong. You can call her Sister Rongrong. Lu Yuan's voice rang out. Hello, Sister Rongrong. Wang Cho-er greeted. Hello, Cho-er. As she looked at the obedient and beautiful Wang Cho-er, Ning Rongrong revealed a smile on her face. This is Dugu Yang. You can call her Sister Yang. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Hello, Sister Yang. Wang Cho-er greeted. Hello, Cho-er. As she looked at Wang Cho-er, Dugu Yang couldn't help but smile. This is your sister-in-law, Zhuqing. Lu Yuan glanced at Zhu Zhuqing. "Hello, sister-in-law," Wang Qiu'er greeted. "Hello, Qiu'er." Zhu Zhuqing rolled her eyes at Lu Yuan. After that, she looked at Wang Qiu'er and revealed a smile on her cold face. Instantly, it was as if the cold wind had melted, and she was extremely beautiful. Lu Yuan could not help but feel a little dazzled by the flirtatious scene in that instant. This cold Zhuqing was very enchanting when she smiled. As he retracted his gaze, Lu Yuan smiled and said, "I've said most of what I wanted to say today. I'm preparing to return to the Dragon King Hall. I have some things to settle. Are the two of you staying in the academy, or are you coming back with me to take a look?" As he spoke, Lu Yuan's gaze drifted towards Dugu Yang and Ning Rongrong. Dugu Yang was Dugu Bo's granddaughter, and she was now a member of the Dragon King Hall. Ning Rongrong was from the Seven Treasures Glazed sect, and now that the Seven Treasures Glazed sect was working closely with the Dragon King Palace, Ning Rongrong was not considered an outsider. That was why Lu Yuan asked them if they wanted to go back with him. "Of course, I haven't been to your Dragon King Palace yet." Ning Rongrong's voice sounded as soon as Lu Yuan's voice fell. She had been waiting for Lu Yuan for more than a year. Now that she had the chance to spend more time with Lu Yuan, she would definitely seize it. She still wanted to chase after Lu Yuan as soon as possible. "What about you?" Lu Yuan looked at Dugu Yang. "I'll go too. I haven't seen grandfather for a long time. I want to see him." Dugu Yang said softly. "Well, in that case, let's go back together," Lu Yuan said softly. "Sister Xiaodao," Lu Yuan's voice rang out. "Go and call the old man. I have something to give him." "Oh." Ma Xiaodao nodded, and then her figure flashed, and she quickly headed towards Fellows and the others' office. Ma Xiaodao was extremely fast. In a short while, she appeared in front of Lu Yuan and the rest with the Fellows. "Let's go then." Lu Yuan nodded. He held Zhu Zhuqing's hand with his left hand and Wang Qiu'er with his right as they walked out of the school gate. Dragon King Palace. "Zhuqing, you and Sister Xiaodao can accompany them around the Dragon King Palace. I still have some things to do with the old man." Lu Yuan looked at Zhu Zhuqing and said softly, "Okay, you can go ahead if you have something to do. Leave them to me." Zhu Zhuqing nodded slightly and said, "I'll leave them to you then, Zhuqing." With that, Lu Yuan rubbed Wang Qiu'er's head and smiled. "Qiu'er, go and play with sister-in-law Zhuqing. We'll meet again later." "Okay, brother." Wang Qiu'er nodded and walked to Zhu Zhuqing's side. "Let's go then, old man." Lu Yuan gave the Fellows a look and walked towards the Law Enforcement Hall with him. Law Enforcement Hall, Fellows' room. "Abuchi, why did you call this old man here so mysteriously? Do you have something to say?" The Fellows sat on the bed and asked Lu Yuan. "It's nothing big. I just want to help you increase your rank." Lu Yuan smiled. "Increase your rank? Like the spirit ascension pill that's circulating in the medicine hall?" The Fellows looked at Lu Yuan curiously. He had been in the Dragon King Palace for more than a year. He knew about the famous spirit ascension pill that was circulating in the medicine hall. It was said that this pill could increase one's soul power. A soul elder could break through a rank after consuming one, and a soul ancestor could increase one's soul power by a rank after consuming one. It could be said that it was an extremely precious pill. Could it be that Abuchi wanted to give this to him? If that was the case, then he didn't dote on him for nothing. This son of his still remembered him. It's not the spirit ascension pill. If the soul power raised by the spirit ascension pill isn't refined, it'll be superficial. Furthermore, I'm preparing to help you break through to Soul King. The spirit ascension pill can't do that. 5 spirit ascension pills can only increase one's soul power by 3 ranks in the soul ancestor realm. You're still 4 ranks away from Soul King, so the spirit ascension pill won't be effective. What I want to give you is this." With that, a light flashed and a white immortal herb appeared in Lu Yuan's hand. This immortal herb looked very ordinary, but there was a milky white stream of air surrounding it. It emitted a faint white mist, making it look very strange. "What's this?" The Fellows looked at the immortal herb in Lu Yuan's hand with a curious expression. "This is the chaotic element immortal herb. Its medicinal properties are extremely powerful. Although it's inferior to the king of immortal herbs, the yearning heartbroken red, it's still far superior to other immortal herbs. Old man, if you consume this immortal herb, you'll definitely be able to break through to Soul King. Furthermore, this chaotic element immortal herb can improve your aptitude. Originally, you'd only be able to break through to Soul King at most, but with this immortal herb, you'll be able to become a soul sage. In fact, you might even be able to break through to Soul Douluo. Haven't you always felt that your soul ancestor strength was too low and that you didn't deserve to be the dean? If you consume this, your strength will increase, and you'll be worthy of being the dean. With that, Lu Yuan handed the chaotic element immortal herb to the fellows. However, the fellows pushed the chaotic element immortal herb back. Abuchi, this immortal herb is so precious, it's a pity to give it to an old man like me. You should consume it yourself, the fellows said softly at the sight of the astonished expression on Lu Yuan's face. I've already consumed several immortal herbs, so consuming more won't have any effect. Not only me, but even Zhu Qing, Cher, and Nana have all consumed immortal herbs. This immortal herb is something I'm saving for you, Lu Yuan said as he pushed the fellow's hand back. Chapter 512. They've all consumed it. The fellows was a little surprised as he asked. Yes, they consumed it a year ago. This immortal herb is very potent. Normally speaking, consuming one stalk is enough to benefit a person for the rest of their life. Consuming too many isn't beneficial at all. Instead, it's harmful. That's why this chaotic element immortal herb is useless to share and the rest, Lu Yuan said softly. What about your sister, Wang Qiu'er? Has she consumed it? The fellows asked. I've already prepared Qiu'er's. This stalk is for you. Don't worry and eat it, Lu Yuan said. All right then. Since you've said so, I won't stand on ceremony with you. Since Lu Yuan had said so, the fellows didn't reject anymore. Being able to increase his strength was naturally a good thing for him. If he became stronger, he would be able to help his son do things that he could. As a soul ancestor, he really couldn't do anything. His son and daughter-in-law were both soul kings, while his father was only a soul ancestor. The fellows felt a little ashamed. Since his son was being filial, he had to accept it. Once his strength increased, he would be able to help his son manage the huge Heavenly Star Academy. After all, this brat had never liked to be in charge of anything. Thus, he could only help him as his father. The fellows thought to himself, how do I eat this? Is there anything particular about it? The fellows looked at Lu Yuan. There's nothing particular about it. Just eat it directly. After that, meditate to absorb soul power. You don't have to worry about being disturbed. I'll be here to protect you, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Okay. The fellows nodded. After that, he picked up the chaotic element immortal herb and swallowed it quickly. He crossed his legs and closed his eyes as he started to meditate and absorb soul power. The chaotic element immortal herb's energy was extraordinary, and the absorption process wasn't short. After about 4 hours, the energy undulations on the fellow's body gradually stabilized. Level 50. Lu Yuan smiled faintly as he felt the fellow's aura. Since the fellows had broken through, he would bring him to hunt for a soul ring tomorrow. Speaking of which, the fellow's first 4 soul rings were white, yellow, and purple, which was a little too shabby. His 5th soul ring had to be at least 10,000 years. After consuming the chaotic element immortal herb, the fellows would have no issues finding a 14,000 to 15,000-year-old soul ring. He couldn't let his son find another trashy soul ring. After all, his father had to find a good one. Lu Yuan thought to himself. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. During these 3 days, Lu Yuan had also obtained a 15,000-year 3-headed scarlet flame wolf soul ring for the fellows. It was extremely compatible with the fellows' martial soul. It was worth mentioning that after consuming the chaotic element immortal herb, the fellow's scarlet flamehound martial soul had evolved into a demonic infernal flamehound, and its quality had increased significantly. After absorbing the soul ring, The fellows had become a rank 52 Soul King. It could be said that he had been reborn. Although a rank 52 Soul King wasn't very high, it was still acceptable for him to be the dean. After all, the Heavenly Star Academy was only an advanced Soul Master Academy. Although it was developing quickly, there was still a large gap between it and the Heaven-Do Imperial Academy. Therefore, with a rank 52 Soul King and Lu Yuan's support, it wouldn't be a problem for him to secure the position of dean. Lu Yuan could clearly sense that the fellows had become much more relaxed and motivated after his increase in strength. As expected, the fellows was still a little concerned about his previous strength as a soul ancestor. He always felt that he wasn't worthy of his position. But now, he felt much better. Lying on the bed, Lu Yuan's eyes flickered slightly as he looked at the world outside, which was gradually becoming brighter. He sighed softly in his heart. Another new day had begun. Speaking of which, he really did have some things to announce today. Just as Lu Yuan was deep in thought, a pair of jade-like arms wrapped around his neck. Zhu Zhuqing's large black and white eyes were staring straight at him with affection. "You're awake so early? Why didn't you sleep a little longer?" Zhu Zhuqing asked softly. "I slept enough, so I naturally woke up. I can't sleep anymore. If you're tired, you can sleep first. It's still early." Lu Yuan smiled as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful face. "I'm not tired. I'm very energetic right now." Zhu Zhuqing gently shook her head. "All right, if you're not going to sleep, then let's get intimate. It's still early anyway." As Lu Yuan spoke, the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of a strange smile. He slightly moved his head and kissed Zhu Zhuqing's cherry lips. Being kissed by Lu Yuan, Zhu Zhuqing was stunned at first. Then, she quickly reacted and hugged Lu Yuan's neck as she responded enthusiastically. She really liked the feeling of being close to Lu Yuan. After a long time, their lips parted. Lu Yuan tightly hugged Zhu Zhuqing's waist and held her in his arms. Their faces were so close that they could hear each other's breathing. "You seem to be thinking about something with your eyes open. Can you tell me?" Zhu Zhuqing's forehead gently touched Lu Yuan's forehead. Her breath hit Lu Yuan's face as she spoke. "There are two things that I need to announce today." Facing Zhu Zhuqing's curious gaze, Lu Yuan said softly. "What are they?" Zhu Zhuqing asked. "The first thing is naturally about the Dragon King's Imperial Guard. I'm preparing to establish the Dragon King's Imperial Guard. I don't need many people. 36 people are enough. However, these 36 people must all be at least soul sages. I'm preparing to hand them over to ZG to lead, and they will serve me directly. 36 people at least soul sages. Does the Dragon King's palace have so many soul sages left? Although the 3 halls each have more than 20 soul sages, they are all responsible for important matters. If we transfer too many soul sages at once, it might affect the Dragon King's palace's development." After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing frowned and softly said, "I know. I only said that I'm going to establish the Dragon King's Imperial Guard. I didn't say that I'm going to pick all 36 people at once. Let's pick 18 for now. It won't affect much if we transfer 6 soul sages from each hall. We can transfer the remaining soul sages when we have enough manpower in the future. Furthermore, we might even be able to pick a few soul Douluo." Lu Yuan smiled. "All right, it's good that you've thought about it." After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing nodded gently. Suddenly, she seemed to have thought of something. Her gaze sharpened. "Lu Yuan, did you say that you're going to hand the Dragon King's Imperial Guard to ZG?" Chapter 513. Lu Yuan, did you just say that you want Violet to be in charge of the Dragon King's Guard? Zhu Zhuqing looked into Lu Yuan's eyes and asked in a soft voice. "Yes. Is there a problem?" Lu Yuan asked softly. "Violet isn't one of your people. Is it appropriate for her to be in charge of such an important Dragon King's Guard? I think it's better to let Sister Xiaodao be in charge. After all, she is loyal to you, reliable, and powerful," Zhu Zhuqing said. "Oh." Lu Yuan grunted softly and said, "What you said makes sense. However, I want to create the Dragon King's Imperial Guard. Sister Xiaotao's martial soul is a phoenix. It would be weird for her to be the leader. Furthermore, Sister Xiaodao is impulsive. She is not suitable to be a leader. She is more suitable to be a bodyguard. On the other hand, Ziji's martial soul is the demonic infernal Dragon King. She's a legitimate member of the Dragon Clan, and she's powerful enough to stand shoulder to shoulder with Elder Yang. She's also a mature and intelligent person, so she's quite suitable to be in charge, Lu Yuan said. But she is an outsider. Can she be trusted? I don't think she is reliable. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing frowned and said, "She is Enea's person. I believe her not because of herself, but because of Enea. These people are very loyal to Enea, just like how Sister Xiaodao and the others are to me. Since Enea told her to listen to me, she will not cause any trouble." "Don't worry, Zhuqing," Lu Yuan said with a smile. "All right. If you believe her, then so be it." Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing sighed softly. Since Lu Yuan chose to believe her, there was no need for her to persuade him. Although she felt that it was a little inappropriate, she believed in Lu Yuan's judgment. "All right, don't worry. Letting Ziji take charge of the Dragon King's Imperial Guards is also a temporary measure. Aren't we lacking manpower now? When we have sufficient manpower in the future, I will naturally arrange for our own people." Lu Yuan gently rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's cheek and said with a smile, "Well, it's good that you have this plan." After listening to this sentence, Zhu Zhuqing's heart relaxed a lot. It seemed that Lu Yuan still had his own plans in his heart. "What about the second thing?" Zhu Zhuqing asked again. "The second matter has to do with Qiu. Zhuqing, tell me the truth. Do you like Qiu?" Lu Yuan looked into Zhu Zhuqing's eyes as he spoke with a serious tone. "Yes, Qiu is pretty, cute, and sensible. She's also very pure. Of course I like her," Zhu Zhuqing said softly. Suddenly, her tone changed. But what?" Lu Yuan stared at Zhu Zhuqing. "It's just that Qiu is too clingy to you. Even though the two of you are siblings, she doesn't have to stick to you every day. Furthermore, she's either hugging your arm or leaping into your embrace every time. Isn't that a little too intimate?" Zhu Zhuqing tilted her head slightly as she met Lu Yuan's gaze. "So you're saying that you're jealous again, little kitty? You're even jealous of Qiu?" As Lu Yuan spoke, a strange smile appeared on his face. "Who's jealous? Who's jealous? I'm not." After listening to Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing's face flushed red as she hurriedly denied it. "Hey, little kitty, you're quite jealous. All right, since you're so jealous, I guess I haven't shown you enough love and care. In that case, let me show you more love and care, so that you won't be jealous all the time." Lu Yuan smiled as he lowered his head and kissed Zhu Zhuqing's red lips again. Woo! Dragon King Palace, inside the main hall. Lu Yuan stood on a tall platform in the main hall. Zhu Zhuqing was on his right, and Wang Qiu was on his left. Below the platform were many of the Dragon King Palace's higher-ups. Apart from Yi Lingsu from the Nine-Hearted Begonia sect, all the other powerful individuals above Seoul Douluo were gathered here. Light flickered in his eyes as Lu Yuan scanned everyone below. They were the true pillars of the Dragon King Palace. After retracting his gaze, Lu Yuan said softly, "I've gathered everyone here today because I have two things to announce. The first thing is to establish the Dragon King's Imperial Guards. There are 36 of them, and every one of them is above Soul Sages. Since we're short on manpower, we'll recruit 18 of them. 3 halls will take 6 from each hall, and ZG will be in charge of the Dragon King's Imperial Guards. As for the people who will be transferred, the people in charge of each hall will decide for themselves. Elder Long, Elder Dugu, Uncle Yang, I'll leave this matter to the 3 of you." Lu Yuan looked at the 3 of them. "Don't worry, my lord. Leave it to us." Long Xiaoyaro and Yang Shaozhe nodded slightly. "Don't worry, Hallmaster. I'll pick the best 6 for you." Dugu Bo laughed. "All right, I'll have to trouble Elder Dugu then." Lu Yuan smiled and said. Following this, Lu Yuan's eyes flickered, and his expression turned serious again. "The second thing is about my sister, Wang Qiu. Wang Qiu'er is 13 years old this year, and she's a rank 46 assault-type soul ancestor. She possesses a superb martial soul, the Golden Dragon. I'm prepared to make her the Holy Lady of the Dragon King Palace. Do any of you have any objections? Lu Yuan scanned everyone with his eyes as he asked. He had been thinking about making Wang Qiu'er the Holy Lady for a long time. Wang Qiu'er was his sister, and she possessed the same martial soul as him. At the same time, she was also an emperor beast, and represented the great Star Do Forest's powers. Making her the Holy Lady was a win-win situation. Lu Yuan's Dragon King Palace didn't only accept human powers. Lu Yuan also considered soul beasts' powers. Making Wang Qiu'er the Holy Lady would undoubtedly make it easier for him to accept soul beasts' powers, and it would also be easier for him to gain their recognition. Even if that was not the case, from a personal point of view, as his only sister, Lu Yuan naturally wanted to give her the best. As for Wang Qiu'er's abilities, she was originally a rank 42 soul ancestor. However, after consuming the Shenyang Jade Dragon Fruit that Lu Yuan had given her, her abilities rose to rank 46 soul ancestor. She had improved tremendously. A 13-year-old rank 46 soul ancestor was very impressive. She definitely surpassed many people in the Douluo continent. With Wang Qiu'er's talent, Lu Yuan was sure that no one would object to his decision. Indeed, everyone started to speak in the next moment. We have no objections. All right. After hearing everyone's words, Lu Yuan said, since no one has any objections, I announce that Wang Qiu'er is the Holy Lady of the Dragon King Palace from now on. She has the highest status below me. Even the elders of the Dragon King Palace have to greet her when they see her. Chapter 5:14. Do you all understand? Lu Yuan asked as he looked at everyone. We understand. Everyone replied in unison. It's good that you understand. Qiu'er, receive the order. Lu Yuan's hand flashed, and a Dragon King's token appeared in his hand. He passed it to Wang Qiu'er. All right, elder brother. Wang Qiu'er said softly as she received the Dragon King's token from Lu Yuan's hand. Go, Qiu'er. Lu Yuan said softly as he smiled at Wang Qiu'er. Okay. Wang Qiu'er nodded. She took 2 steps forward with the Dragon King's token in hand and raised it high in the air. On top of the silver-white token, a golden dragon appeared. It looked around with a majestic and awe-inspiring aura. Greetings, Holy Lady. When Wang Qiu'er raised the Dragon King's token high in the air, a deafening voice rang out and lingered in the hall for a long time. Time flowed like water, and 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. During these 3 months, Lu Yuan had been busy running between the Dragon King Hall and the Heavenly Star Academy. He was mainly crafting soul tools and pills in the Dragon King Hall. According to Ning Rongrong's information, the 7 Treasures Glazed sect had a huge demand for soul tools. However, Lu Yuan was the only one who knew how to craft soul tools. Therefore, Lu Yuan had no choice but to squeeze out some time to craft soul tools. Lu Yuan's soul tools were already at the peak of Class 6. After 3 months of crafting soul tools, he seemed to have made some improvements. He was already at the bottleneck of a Class 7 soul engineer. As long as he continued his research, Lu Yuan would become a Class 7 soul engineer in no time. A Class 7 soul engineer could be considered a high-level soul engineer. When he became a Class 7 soul engineer, Lu Yuan could craft Class 7 soul tools. These Class 7 soul tools were much stronger than Class 6 soul tools. When the time came, he could craft more than 10 Class 7 soul cannons and place them at the various entrances of the Dragon King Hall. The defensive capabilities of the Dragon King Hall would increase exponentially. A Class 7 soul cannon could severely injure a soul sage if it was hit. Its strength was extraordinary. Even a soul Douluo would be killed if more than 10 Class 7 soul cannons were fired at the same time. It couldn't be helped. The firepower was just that fierce. Other than crafting soul tools, he also concocted pills. Lu Yuan's alchemy skills had also improved along with the increase in his mental strength and the number of times he refined medicine. The most convincing proof was that he had finally concocted a top-grade pill for the first time. Moreover, It was a top-grade spirit ascension pill. A normal soul ascension pill only had a small chance of helping a soul ancestor break through to the next level, but a soul ascension pill of the highest quality had a 100% chance of helping a soul ancestor break through. In addition, Lu Yuan also refined 2 new pills, one of which was the longevity pill. A single longevity pill could increase one's lifespan by 5 years. On the Douluo continent, the lifespan of a soul master was less than 100 years. Even a titled Douluo could only live for a few hundred years before they died. A pill that could increase one's lifespan by 5 years was a treasure to those who were nearing the end of their lifespan. Furthermore, it wasn't just one pill that could be consumed. As long as the conditions permitted, a person could consume 5 longevity pills in their lifetime. 5 pills. Even if the effects of each pill would weaken a little, 5 pills added together could still increase one's lifespan by 17 or 18 years. If a titled Douluo who was about to die obtained 5 longevity pills, he could at least protect his family for another 17 or 18 years. What kind of concept was that? Lu Yuan was sure that once the longevity pills were released, there would definitely be a mad scramble for them. Especially those sects and clans that had titled Douluo or Soul Douluo who were nearing the end of their lifespan. They would definitely pay a huge price to purchase these longevity pills. In this way, wouldn't his Dragon King Hall make a fortune again? Other than the longevity pills, there was another type of pill called the ageless pill. That's right, it was the ageless pill. If the longevity pills were extremely attractive to those who were nearing the end of their lifespan, then the ageless pill was an irresistible temptation to all women. A single ageless pill could guarantee eternal youth. Even if you were 70 or 80 years old, you would still be as beautiful as a young girl. To women, this was very attractive. Never underestimate the extent to which women cared about their appearance. That kind of craziness was definitely beyond your imagination. It could be expected that once the ageless pill hit the market, it would definitely become popular in the entire continent. With the longevity pills and the ageless pill, these 2 killing weapons, in addition to other pills and soul tools, would the Dragon King Hall be short of money in the future? That was impossible. Even if they were short of money, they wouldn't be short of money. The Dragon King Hall would never be short of money again. Every day, as long as they sold pills, they could sit at home and count the money. Just thinking about this kind of life made them feel a little happy. If Lu Yuan was in the Dragon King Hall to refine soul tools and pills, then in the Heavenly Star Academy, it was naturally to train the team, and at the same time to cultivate the tacit understanding between them. Lu Yuan didn't participate in the training of the team's tacit understanding. He only needed one person. Either the whole team went, or he went alone. As for cooperation, it was completely unnecessary. Zhu Zhuqing would also participate in the training sometimes. The content of the training was very simple, 7 against 1. There were 7 of them against Lu Yuan. It was impossible to be an armchair strategist. If they wanted to cultivate tacit understanding, then they needed to fight. Only through fighting could they discover the problems between the team members, and then correct them. Lu Yuan's strength naturally didn't need to be mentioned. 1 against 7, he could beat them to death every time. Even with the addition of Zhu Zhuqing, a Soul King, and Ning Rongrong's 9 treasures glazed pagoda, they were still beaten to the ground by Lu Yuan every time. After 3 months of training, the Heavenly Star team's strength could be said to have increased a lot, and the coordination between them was also very good. With their current combination of 5 soul ancestors and 2 soul elders, even if they didn't count Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing, they should be able to advance to the finals. However, it would be very difficult to ensure that they didn't lose a single match. Therefore, in the competition, when it was time for Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing to fight, they still had to fight. After all, Lu Yuan wanted a complete victory, and losing a single match was unforgivable. Since 3 months had passed, the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament was close at hand. According to Lu Yuan's information, the preliminaries were about to start. In the Heavenly Star Academy. On the training ground, a battle seemed to have just ended. Looking at the people who were beaten down by him again, Lu Yuan's eyes were calm. Today's training will end here. Everyone, get up. I have some things to tell everyone. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, the members of the team climbed up and looked at each other, then looked at him with doubtful eyes. Chapter 5:15. I just received news that the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament will be held in 3 days at the original Heaven Do Great Soul Arena. Lu Yuan's voice rang out as he looked at everyone. The Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament is finally coming? Hee, I can't wait any longer. Just as Lu Yuan's voice fell, Ling Wei's voice rang out. Indeed, it's finally coming. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Fu Qinsheng immediately agreed after hearing Ling Wei's words. He wasn't the only one. Even Wang Qiu, Ning Rongrong, and Dugu Yang's eyes shone with a strange light when they heard the news. They were all eager to give it a try. After 3 months of training, their abilities had increased significantly, and they all wanted to perform well in the tournament. Hehe, it seems like everyone is full of confidence. Lu Yuan smiled as he looked at everyone's expressions. Not bad, this kind of confidence was something an outstanding team needed. Of course. With your 3 months of training, we have already undergone a transformation. In this competition, our academy will definitely win everyone's attention. Hearing that, Dugu Yang softly said with a trace of determination in her voice. They weren't weak now. Other than Lu Yuan, who was rank 58, their vice-captain, Zhu Zhuqing, was already rank 52. Among the remaining people, Wang Qiu was rank 47, Dugu Yang was rank 47, and Ning Rongrong, who had consumed the Spirit Ascension Pill, had risen from rank 42 to rank 45. Fu Qinsheng and Ling Wei, who were in the same situation as Ning Rongrong, had also reached rank 45 and 44. Just the 5 of them, Jing Ling and Jiang Zhu, made up 5 soul ancestors and 2 soul elders. This strength was enough to dominate the Heaven Do competition zone. Even if Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing didn't compete, they could still do well. Dugu Yang couldn't help but sigh as she looked at the current team. The current Heavenly Star Battle team was much stronger than the original Heaven Do Battle team. Everyone in the team was monstrous. Her talent could only be considered below average in the team. Lu Yuan, Zhu Zhuqing, Wang Qiu, and Ning Rongrong were all more talented than her. She sighed in her heart. Joining the Heavenly Star Academy was indeed the right choice. Listening to Dugu Yang's words, Lu Yuan smiled faintly and declined to comment. Their current team composition was definitely a luxurious lineup, and it would not be a problem for them to gain the attention of everyone present. I'm very happy to see that everyone is so confident. Next, I'm going to explain some of the rules of this competition. Please listen carefully. Looking at the crowd, Lu Yuan said softly, this competition is divided into 3 formats: the preliminaries, the promotion round, and the finals. The qualifiers will be conducted in the form of team battles. The competition will adopt a single-cycle competition system. In the end, the few teams with the highest number of points in each division will enter the promotion competition. After the advancement stage, the competition will change. If the preliminaries are a test of a team's strength, then the advancement stage is a stage for an individual to display their strength. In the advancement stage, each side will send out 7 members to compete. The 2 sides will fight one by one. The winner will remain on the stage, and the loser will continue to send out students to challenge the other side. The competition will only end when all the students from one side are defeated. The top 15 academies in the advancement stage will have the opportunity to enter the finals. The top few academies in the advancement stage will have a bye in the first round of the finals. This is the benefit of being at the top of the rankings. There are a total of 33 teams participating in the finals. The 2 empires each have 15 academies. In addition to the Heaven Do Imperial Academy, the Star Luo Imperial Academy, and the Martial Soul Palace Academy, the 3 academies that are guaranteed to enter the finals. The competition format for the finals is the same as the qualifiers. The top 2 teams will have a bye at the end of each round. After reaching the top 6, the top 3 teams will compete against each other to determine the top 3 teams. At the end of the competition, the top 3 teams will compete in a combination of individual elimination and team competition. The team that wins the individual elimination will directly enter the finals. The remaining 2 teams will compete in a team competition to determine the final team that will enter the finals. Finally, the team that won the individual elimination round will compete in a team competition. The winner of this battle will be the champion of this year's Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament. These are the rules of this year's Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament. Do you guys understand? Lu Yuan asked softly. I don't really understand. It feels a little complicated. Ling Wei scratched his head and said, it doesn't matter if you don't understand. We just have to remember to keep winning. Fu Qinsheng said softly. Qinsheng is right. No matter what the rules are, we just have to keep winning. We can't lose a single round. This is my only request for you guys. Do you guys have confidence? Lu Yuan asked as he looked at everyone. Captain, will you take action? After hearing Lu Yuan's words, everyone looked at each other before turning to look at Lu Yuan. Faced with Fu Qinsheng's question, Lu Yuan nodded and said, of course. If we meet a strong team, I'll definitely take action. However, in the preliminaries, I'll leave the weaker teams to you guys. Unless there are special circumstances, Zhu Qing and I won't take action. You guys will have to rely on yourselves. This is also a chance for you guys to perform. After all, once I take action, the battle will basically be over. You guys won't be able to enjoy the thrill of the competition. I don't think you guys are willing to just watch me kill a little kid with a punch. We're not willing. Hearing this, everyone shook their heads. If Lu Yuan really had to take action in every match, then they really wouldn't have any room to perform. No one knew better than them how strong their captain was. Okay, then it's settled. If there aren't special circumstances in the preliminaries, Zhu Qing and I won't take action. Qinsheng, you're a spirit control system soul master and you're relatively steady. When the time comes, the entire team will be under your command. I don't have any other requests. Just give me a beautiful victory. Lu Yuan said softly. Yes, Captain. Fu Qinsheng nodded and said. Then let's stop here. The competition is in 3 days, so the team's training will end here. In these 3 days, everyone should have a good rest. Try to get a good start in 3 days and let them see the strength of our Heavenly Star Academy. Yes. Their voices rang out in unison. Ian, not bad. That's it. There's nothing else to say. Everyone can go back. Lu Yuan smiled and waved his hand. Chapter 516. 3 days later. Morning. Heavenly Star Academy, Lu Yuan's small wooden house. Zhu Qing, is this your custom-made uniform? Lu Yuan asked softly as he looked at his new robe in the mirror. Yes, what do you think? Zhu Qing took 2 steps forward and gently tidied up Lu Yuan's collar. It's okay, it looks okay. It has some of the characteristics of our Heavenly Star Academy. Lu Yuan said softly as he looked at the robe on his body. The robe was completely white with silver laces. On the robe and cuffs, there were silver star-shaped marks, exuding a bright silver light. On the chest, there were 2 beautiful silver words written in ancient characters, Heavenly Star. The whole robe looked quite comfortable. There were not many patterns, but it had a kind of atmosphere. In Lu Yuan's eyes, it was not bad. It was quite in line with his aesthetic. After all, he had always liked to wear this kind of simple style clothes. He didn't like things that were too fancy. It's good that you think it's okay. Zhu Qing sighed softly and said, this was Rong Rong's suggestion. She said that you might like this kind of simple style clothes. Rong Rong's suggestion? Hearing this, Lu Yuan was slightly silent. Lu Yuan, Rong Rong is a good girl. Zhu Qing said softly. Well, I know, but her character. Lu Yuan sighed, with a trace of melancholy in his tone. Her character has changed a lot. I feel that in this year, Rong Rong has changed a lot. If you like it, just accept it. Don't worry about us. I have discussed it with Chihiro Snow and the others. This matter is up to you. Zhu Qing snuggled in Lu Yuan's arms, and her soft voice came out. It's been hard on you, always making you compromise for me. Lu Yuan gently rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's long hair, sighed slightly, and said, "But about Rong Rong, let nature take its course. I don't have the idea of looking for another one now. This matter will wait until later." "All right, you can decide for yourself," Zhu Zhuqing said softly. Gently holding Zhu Zhuqing's waist, Lu Yuan suddenly thought of something. "Zhuqing, you girls seem to be wearing long pants under your team uniform?" "Yeah, they said that it's more convenient to wear trousers in battle. Skirts are more of a hindrance, and what?" Lu Yuan asked. "And it's easy to leak," Zhu Zhuqing said softly, her face blushing slightly. "Ah, that's true." Hearing this, Lu Yuan chuckled and said softly. As the sun rose, the renovated Heaven Do Great Soul Arena welcomed a large crowd of spectators. Countless spectators were already looking forward to the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament, which was held once every 5 years. There were many young men and women in the audience. As for why this was the case, there was naturally a reason. The participants of the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament were all below the age of 25. Furthermore, those who were able to participate in the tournament were all outstanding young soul masters. Such soul masters would undoubtedly become the targets of adoration in the hearts of countless young men and women. There were even many young girls who had the idea of marrying a powerful soul master. If an ordinary girl were to marry a powerful soul master, it would be a matter of both fame and fortune. Of course, this possibility wasn't very high. Truly powerful soul masters might not be interested in ordinary girls, even if they were good-looking. This was because they were truly after a female soul master of the same status as them. After all, soul masters were the most respected profession on the Douluo continent. Why were there so many male soul masters who were single? Wasn't it because there were very few female soul masters, and they didn't fancy ordinary girls? Therefore, they became uncles after enduring for a long time. Then, they became old men, and finally, they became old bachelors. This kind of thing wasn't rare. Of course, there were exceptions to everything. Perhaps some young girl was lucky enough to be fancied by a young soul master. This was also possible. After so many years of the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament, such things had happened before. Therefore, it wasn't unreasonable for these young girls to have such thoughts. After all, it was a fact. It was already 7:15 in the morning. Normally, it would be 7:30 in the morning. At this time, the entire Heaven Do Great Soul Arena was filled with people. There were roughly tens of thousands of people. It wasn't hard to imagine how popular it was. For this tournament, the Heaven Do Imperial family had even mobilized the Heaven Do Imperial Army to maintain order. Even so, there were still some disturbances. Lu Yuan and the rest had already arrived. Lu Yuan's team of 9 was very eye-catching among the other teams. It couldn't be helped. Lu Yuan, Wang Qiu-er, Zhu Zhuqing, and the rest of the girls were too good-looking. People couldn't help but notice them. Furthermore, Lu Yuan and the rest had a very unique aura. When the 9 of them stood together, the formless aura that permeated the air attracted many people's attention. Not far from Lu Yuan's team of 9 were Long Xiaoyao, Ma Xiaodao, Du Gubo, and the rest. Apart from Yang Xiaozhe, who stayed behind to look after the place, 3 titled Douluo from the Dragon King Hall had arrived. Of course, there was also the demonic infernal dragon queen, ZG. She had also arrived with Lu Yuan's team. This lineup was truly a little frightening to say the least. Apart from them, the Heavenly Star Academy had also sent representatives. They were the Fellows and Liu Erlong. The 2 of them were in front of Lu Yuan and the rest, and they were doing their registration. The so-called registration was actually the registration of the members of each academy's battle team. Once the registration was completed, there would not be any more additions or substitutions to the battle team in the future. The Heavenly Star battle team naturally consisted of Lu Yuan and the other 7 members, as well as the 2 substitutes, Jing Ling and Jiang Zhu. It didn't take long for the Fellows and ZG to complete their registration, and they returned to Lu Yuan and the rest. The Fellows said softly, "Now that we've registered, we can enter the arena." The participating academies have a special resting area provided by the main arena. Let's go there first. After the opening ceremony is over, the tournament will begin. I think many students should be there by now. All right, let's go in then. Lu Yuan nodded at everyone around him. He looked at the fellows and said, "Old man, lead the way." "All right, follow me," the fellows said. After that, he turned around and led the way. Liu Erlong followed behind him. Lu Yuan and the rest looked at each other before following the fellows to the resting area. Chapter 5:17. The resting area was very large, with over 1,000 seats. It was divided into different areas for the various academies to rest and wait. Just as the fellows had said, many academies had already arrived. When Lu Yuan's group entered, there were already quite a few people here, and there were even many familiar faces. The resting area was much quieter than the outside. Firstly, there were fewer people here, and secondly, the quality of soul masters was always higher than commoners. Although there were occasional sounds of discussion coming from the resting area, they weren't very loud. At the very least, they didn't disturb others. Lu Yuan's group swaggered in without any concealment. Coupled with the indescribable pressure coming from their bodies, they instantly attracted the attention of many academies. This was especially true for the leader, Lu Yuan. His figure was tall and straight, and his face was handsome. His immortal-like temperament made him stand out from the crowd. Many female soul masters glanced at him, causing Zhu Zhuqing's gaze to become much colder. Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile bitterly when he felt the slightly cold gaze of the jealous little girl beside him. He didn't do it on purpose, but his charm was simply too great. There was nothing he could do about it. Sai, who told him to be so handsome at his age? He was actually a little vexed about his own handsomeness. Just as Lu Yuan's group entered, a few familiar faces also cast their gazes towards Lu Yuan's group. In the northwest corner of the resting area, there was a group of young soul masters wearing the Blazing Flames uniform gathered. At this moment, a young girl with fiery red hair was looking in the direction of Lu Yuan's group. Her eyes were slightly focused, and there was a trace of doubt on her charming face. "Hua Wu, what are you looking at?" Hua Wushuang couldn't help but ask softly when she saw her sister staring unblinkingly in the direction of the resting area. Hua Wu's gaze was still fixed as she spoke softly. "Big brother, look at that team wearing silver-white star-shaped uniforms. Doesn't the man leading them look like the person we've seen before?" "Which person?" "We've seen many people before." Hua Wushuang was somewhat puzzled. "It's that Lu Yuan who single-handedly trampled the Heaven Do Imperial Academy under his feet 4 years ago. Don't you think it's him?" Fire Dance asked. "Really? Let me have a look." Hua Wushuang opened her eyes wide and carefully sized up Lu Yuan. She smacked her lips and said, "You really do look a bit like him. You're still as handsome as ever. Other than him, I don't believe there's another person as handsome as him in this world. But why do you think a man like him is so handsome?" Hua Wushuang said sourly. "What's wrong, big brother? Could it be that you're jealous?" Hua Wu asked with a smile. "TSK, I'm jealous of him. I, Hua Wushuang, am not bad looking, okay? Furthermore, I'm very strong, and my style is very unyielding. Who knows how many young ladies are secretly throwing flirtatious glances at me? I'll be jealous of him." Hearing Hua Wu's words, Hua Wushuang immediately retorted fiercely. "You're strong." Fire Dance curled her lips in disdain. "Can you beat him?" "Of course I'll fight. But who can compete with this pervert?" Hua Wushuang couldn't help but shudder when he thought about how Lu Yuan beat up a soul elder like a chicken and kicked away a soul ancestor 4 years ago. That scene had left a deep impression on him. The Grand Heaven Do Imperial Academy had 3 soul ancestors and 4 soul elders at the same time, but they were actually beaten to the ground by a rank 29 person. That scene had left a huge impact on him. He even heard that the original captain of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's team, Yu Tianheng, was beaten to the point of having his mind blown. It was said that he was like a pile of mud and was completely crippled. He, Hua Wushuang, was ashamed of his inferiority to such a person. Furthermore, 4 years had passed since then. Only the heavens knew how strong that guy had become. He was only a soul ancestor now, but that guy had beaten up a soul ancestor back then. He'd be damned if he could beat him. If you can't beat him, then why are you saying so much? Fire Dance rolled her eyes at Hua Wushuang and stood up. Fire Dance, where are you going? Hua Wushuang asked. I'm going to meet this Lu Yuan. Old brother, aren't you curious about how strong he's become after 4 years? Fire Dance's indifferent voice sounded. Well, I'm actually quite curious about that. Hua Wushuang muttered to himself. If you're curious, then let's go. He's one of the strongest opponents we'll meet in the tournament. We can learn about him in advance and make preparations. Fire Dance said. Amen, little sister, you're right. Let's go. Old brother will accompany you. Hua Wushuang nodded and said to Fire Dance. The two of them then walked towards Lu Yuan and the others. On the other side, a similar situation was occurring. In the northeast corner of the resting area, a group of youthful and beautiful girls wearing blue dresses were gathered here. Big sister, do you think that person looks like a male god? Among the group of beautiful girls, a beautiful girl with long ice blue hair and an oval face asked another girl who looked similar to her and also had long ice blue hair. Male god? What male god? Shui Bing'er looked at her younger sister helplessly. What was this girl up to again? My male god, Lu Yuan. He's the one who beat up the Heaven Do Imperial Academy 4 years ago. Don't you think that person looks like him? Shui Yu'er pointed at Lu Yuan, who was standing at the front of the Heavenly Star team. Hearing that, Shui Bing'er looked in the direction that Shui Yu'er was pointing at. She squinted her eyes and sized him up for a while. Then, she said, he does look like him. Furthermore, that aura gives me a very familiar feeling. It should be him. I didn't think that he would participate in the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament, and even bring his own team. Looks like we'll have another strong opponent in this tournament. Shui Bing'er sighed softly as she thought about the terrifying fighting strength that Lu Yuan had displayed back then. Back then, he was able to defeat 3 soul ancestors and 4 soul elders by himself. Now, even if his team wasn't included, just him alone was enough to pose a threat to their team. It looked like they had to be extremely careful in this tournament. Shui Yu'er naturally didn't know what her sister was thinking. She looked at Lu Yuan, who was standing at the entrance, with a pair of sparkling ice blue eyes. Big sister, why don't we go meet the male god and make friends? This. Shui Bing'er was a little hesitant. She was a little shy. She was fine with girls, but she always felt a little embarrassed to take the initiative to interact with boys. Let's go, big sister. Come with me. Shui Yu'er pulled Shui Bing'er's hand and shook it slightly as she acted coquettishly. All right, let's go. I really don't know what to do with you. Looking at her sister acting coquettishly, Shui Bing'er sighed softly. Her tone was full of helplessness. Chapter 518. Lu Yuan, it feels like someone is sizing us up. Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but whisper when she sensed the gazes coming from the northeast and northwest. It's fine, just some old acquaintances. Lu Yuan chuckled. An old acquaintance. Zhu Zhuqing's face carried a trace of doubt. Yeah, we met 4 years ago when I challenged the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Rongrong was there too. Isn't that right, Rongrong? Lu Yuan glanced at Ning Rongrong. Yeah, that was the first time I saw you. You were so cool back then. You beat the crap out of the entire Heaven Do Imperial Academy with just a few kicks and punches. Ning Rongrong spoke in detail as she looked at Lu Yuan with sparkling eyes. It was then that she became curious about Lu Yuan and gradually fell in love with Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile when he heard this. He reached out and gently rubbed Ning Rongrong's head. Ning Rongrong's eyes narrowed and a sweet smile appeared on her face. Lu Yuan retracted his hand and casually glanced around. Coincidentally, there was an empty space on the left in front of them. Let's go to the white area in front to rest for a while. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing, Lu Yuan said softly. Yes. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing nodded lightly. The group walked towards the white area. There weren't many people around this area and it was very empty. This was also the reason why Lu Yuan chose this area. It wasn't far and Lu Yuan's group quickly arrived. Everyone, find a place to sit down. The opening ceremony should be starting soon. After the opening ceremony, it will be the first round of the qualifiers. Everyone, do your best. We have to win the first round beautifully, Lu Yuan said softly as he looked at the crowd. Yes, Captain. Everyone replied in unison. Seeing this, Lu Yuan nodded slightly. Suddenly, Zhu Zhuqing, who was beside him, poked him. What's wrong, Zhuqing? Lu Yuan tilted his head and looked at her with a trace of confusion. Someone's coming. Zhu Zhuqing whispered. Oh. Lu Yuan replied with an oh and turned around slightly. There were actually two people walking towards them from both sides. On the left was a man and a woman. They were dressed in the red uniform of the flames. The man had a strong build and his arms were full of thick muscles. Although he was not very handsome, he had a heroic aura. The woman had a head of long fiery red hair, a slim figure, and a curvy figure. Her skin was fair, and she had a pretty face. Overall, she was a rare beauty. However, there was a hint of unruliness between her brows, which indicated that this woman's temper was a little fiery. Their soul power ranks weren't low. From Lu Yuan's observation, both of them had soul power ranks above rank 42. With such soul power and the fact that they were only 17 or 18 years old, their identities were obvious. They should be the siblings Hua Wu and Hua Wushuang from Blazing Fire Academy. The two people on the right were both girls. Furthermore, they were both very beautiful girls. One of them was tall and slim, and had a cold expression. She was an older sister-type beauty, while the other was a bit smaller. However, her smile was very sweet, and she gave off a lively and cute aura. Without a doubt, she was a lowly-type beauty. In addition, the two of them had the same icy blue hair, icy blue eyes, and wore the same icy blue dress. When they walked together, there was an indescribable charm. One couldn't help but want to take another look at them. Lu Yuan could clearly guess their identities from the way they dressed. They were the sisters from Skywater Academy. At this moment, the two parties were walking towards Lu Yuan. It was obvious that they were here to find Lu Yuan. In a short while, the four of them arrived in front of Lu Yuan and the others. I didn't expect you to come too, Xue Bing. Hua Wu looked at Xue Bing, who was not far from her, with a trace of fighting spirit in her eyes. If you, Hua Wu, can come, why can't I? Just as Hua Wu looked at Xue Bing with fighting spirit, Xue Bing looked back at her without showing any signs of weakness. The two of them had known each other for a long time. Furthermore, one of them was ice, and the other was fire. They were both proud daughters of heaven, and their soul power ranks were similar. Therefore, it was inevitable for them to compete with each other. In Hua Wu's eyes, Xue Bing was an opponent that she had to defeat. In Xue Bing's eyes, she was not willing to lose to Hua Wu. Therefore, the two of them had been competing with each other. They wanted to suppress each other. Clearly, both of them were here to find Lu Yuan. In the end, before they could even speak, the two of them had already clashed. Ahem, may I know why the four of you are here? Seeing Hua Wu and Xue Bing staring at each other intensely, Lu Yuan couldn't help but speak up and interrupt their competition. After all, this was their encampment. What was the point of the two of them competing here? When Lu Yuan's voice rang out, Hua Wu and Xue Bing immediately retracted their gazes. After all, they were here to find Lu Yuan, not to compete with each other. Hello, you must be Lu Yuan. I am Hua Wushuang from the Blazing Academy. This is my younger sister, Hua Wu. We met 4 years ago at the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. I don't know if you still remember us. Hua Wushuang's candid voice rang out as she looked at Lu Yuan. I have a slight impression of you. I remember that the two of you were watching the battle below with some of the higher-ups from the Blazing Academy. Hearing that, Lu Yuan spoke softly. Haha, Brother Lu's battle back then really shocked me. I've never seen someone as fierce as Brother Lu. You single-handedly defeated the entire Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Your battle strength is truly astonishing. Hua Wushuang laughed. You flatter me. It was only a small battle. It's not that I'm strong, it's just that the Heaven Do Imperial Academy is too weak. Each and every one of their students is filled with the rotten habits of nobility. Their will to battle is weak. How can people like that have any battle strength? They're all in the realm, but their strength can't keep up. Even if Brother Wushuang was the one fighting back then, I'm sure you'd be able to defeat 1 or 2 soul ancestors. Lu Yuan spoke indifferently. Ari, don't flatter me. I was only a rank 33 soul exalt back then. Even if the soul ancestors of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy were in the realm, I still wouldn't be able to defeat them. I know my limits. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Hua Wushuang hurriedly waved his hand. Ha! Hearing that, Lu Yuan chuckled. His impression of Hua Wushuang had improved quite a bit. At the very least, this person was quite honest. He could be considered a person I could make friends with. Lu Yuan thought to himself. Oh right, Brother Lu, this is my younger sister, Hua Wu. Hua Wushuang looked at Hua Wu and introduced her to Lu Yuan. Hello. Lu Yuan nodded his head at Hua Wu. Chapter 519. Hello. Hua Wu's eyes were fixated on Lu Yuan. Her eyes were blazing with passion, the kind of passion that came from seeing a powerhouse. She, Hua Wu, had always been a person who liked to fight. She had a stronger desire to win compared to male soul masters. And it was very clear that Lu Yuan's strength had ignited her fighting spirit. You're very strong. How about we have a fight if there's a chance? Hua Wu said softly as she stared into Lu Yuan's eyes. Hearing this, Lu Yuan looked at the strong fighting spirit in Hua Wu's eyes. He smiled and asked softly, Are you sure? It wasn't that he looked down on Hua Wu, but the gap between them was really too big. Not to mention one Hua Wu, even 7 Hua wouldn't be his opponent. Moreover, among his peers, this was the first time Lu Yuan had met someone who wanted to fight him. This Hua Wu was a bit interesting. If it was someone else, after seeing his fight, they would have already lost their fighting spirit. For example, Hua Wushuang in front of him. Lu Yuan was sure that he didn't have the courage to face him. Because the powerful fighting strength he had displayed at that time had already left a deep impression in his heart. Therefore, as long as he saw him, he would think of that battle and feel powerless in his heart. Naturally, he wouldn't have any desire to fight. In this point, Hua Wushuang's brother was far inferior to Hua Wu. I'm sure. Although I know that I may not be your opponent, I still want to fight with you. Hearing this, Hua Wu looked at Lu Yuan with a burning gaze, her eyes full of determination. TSK, it's really the first time I've seen a girl who likes to fight like you. After carefully sizing up Hua Wu for a while, Lu Yuan faintly smiled and said, But since you have this idea, I'll satisfy you. Originally, I didn't intend to go on stage in this qualifier, but now I have changed my mind. If our Heavenly Star Academy and your Blazing Fire Academy meet, I will go up and fight with you. But if you lose, don't cry, okay? Who would cry? I, Fire Dance, have never cried in my entire life. If you can win against me, that's because of your ability. I won't cry. I'm just afraid that you'll lose miserably when the time comes. Our Blazing Fire Academy isn't just for show. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Fire Dance immediately lost her temper. Wasn't he looking down on her too much? Was she, Fire Dance, certain to lose? Moreover, the qualifiers were a team competition. Even if Lu Yuan was stronger than him, his teammates might not be strong enough. If they fought, it was hard to say who would win. TSK, alright. When the time comes, I'll be waiting to see the true strength of your Blazing Fire Academy, Lu Yuan softly said with a faint smile when he saw Fire Dance's angry appearance. Humph. I'll give you a big surprise when the time comes, Fire Dance snorted and said in a soft voice. The two of them settled the matter with just a few words, causing Hua Wushuang to feel like crying. What did he just hear? Originally, Lu Yuan wasn't prepared to participate in the qualifiers. However, his sister's words forced him out. Although his sister seemed unwilling to admit defeat, as if their Blazing Fire Academy had a high chance of winning, Hua Wushuang knew that if Lu Yuan were to participate, their Blazing Fire Academy would undoubtedly lose. He was already somewhat fearful of Lu Yuan's fighting strength. It wasn't just him, even Feng Xiaotian and the others were the same. They were extremely afraid of Lu Yuan's fighting strength. After all, the scene back then was too terrifying. A Soul Grandmaster had consecutively defeated more than 10 people from the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Furthermore, that included a 1 versus 7 battle where he defeated 3 Soul Ancestors and 4 Soul Elders. Furthermore, that was a battle from 4 years ago. Then, how strong would Lu Yuan be 4 years later? Hua Wushuang didn't dare to imagine, but he knew that his Blazing Fire Academy definitely couldn't defeat him. After all, their Blazing Fire Academy's current Soul Master composition was only slightly better than that of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. With such strength, they would most likely lose to Lu Yuan. Sister. Since he didn't want to participate in the first place, why did you force him to participate? Hua Wushuang felt a faint sadness in his heart. This sister of his was truly too strong. Once her competitive spirit was ignited, she didn't care about anything else. It was truly difficult to have such a sister. As he thought about it, Hua Wushuang couldn't help but sigh softly. On the side, Shui Bing'er watched the two of them come to an agreement with just a few words. She couldn't help but shake her head. This woman, Hua Wu, really didn't have any confidence in her own strength. In any case, she definitely didn't want to meet Lu Yuan. Even if their team had a soul fusion skill, she still didn't dare to guarantee that she could defeat Lu Yuan. She had seen the battle back then, and she had always been shocked by Lu Yuan's strength. Since he didn't want to participate in the first place, then just let him stay. Wouldn't it be better to have an easy fight? Why did he have to find trouble for himself? She couldn't figure out how Hua Wu's brain worked. Her brain seemed to be a little different from ordinary people. Lu Yuan smiled lightly. His gaze shifted to the Shui Bing'er sisters on the right and asked, "You two should be Miss Shui Bing'er and Shui Yu'er from Skywater Academy, right?" "Prince Charming, how do you know my name?" Just as Shui Bing'er was about to reply, Shui Yu'er beat her to it. Her face was suffused with a sweet smile, and her pair of ice blue eyes stared straight at Lu Yuan's face, unwilling to move away for a moment. Slightly meeting Shui Yu'er's gaze, Lu Yuan instantly understood her attribute. This was a young girl who was obsessed with looks, and a little infatuated. Looking at Shui Yu'er's infatuated appearance, Shui Bing'er couldn't help but rub her head with a helpless expression. Sister, this is your first official meeting with him. Is it really appropriate to stare at his face like this? Although he is indeed very handsome, you don't have to look at him like this. Look at you, your saliva is about to drip out. Don't you feel ashamed? Ahem. Shui Bing'er coughed and patted Shui Yu'er beside her, reminding her to pay attention. At the same time, she turned to Lu Yuan with a gentle smile on her cold face. "Hello, I am Shui Bing'er. This is my sister, Shui Yu'er. Hello, I am Lu Yuan." Lu Yuan said, sizing up Shui Bing'er. Even Lu Yuan had to admit that Shui Bing'er was indeed a great beauty. She had a slim figure, slender legs, and a good-looking oval face. Coupled with her ice blue hair and cold temperament, her beauty was not inferior to Ning Rongrong beside Lu Yuan. She was even slightly better than Hua Wu. Chapter 520. Of course, although Shui Bing'er was very beautiful, Lu Yuan was also used to seeing beautiful women. After a glance, he withdrew his gaze. "May I know what the two of you are here for? Could it be that you want to fight with me like Miss Fire Dance?" Looking at Shui Bing'er in front of him, Lu Yuan smiled slightly. No. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Shui Bing'er hurriedly waved her hand and said, "Yu'er and I are just here to make friends." "Right, Yu'er?" Saying that, Shui Bing'er patted Shui Yu'er who was beside her again. "Yes, Prince Charming, we are here to make friends with you." Shui Yu'er blinked her ice blue eyes, her long eyelashes trembling slightly. Her white and rosy face was like a red apple, bright and lovely. "Prince Charming, you are so handsome." Shui Yu'er looked straight at Lu Yuan's face with a love-struck look. "Hehe, you are also very cute." Hearing this, Lu Yuan laughed softly. Is that so? Prince Charming, do you really think I am cute? Being praised by Lu Yuan, Shui Yuer's face quickly surged with joy and quickly asked. Seeing Shui Yuer's surprised look, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile faintly and said softly, "Yes, you are indeed very cute." "Yeah." Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Shui Yuer immediately exclaimed happily, her face blooming with a brilliant smile. She grabbed Shui Bing'er's hand and said with a tone of unconcealable joy, "Sister, did you hear that? Prince Charming praised me for being cute." I heard. Shui Bing'er helplessly shook her head, "But you can't you be more reserved? This sister of mine really doesn't have the slightest bit of a girl's reserve." Love-struck fool. Seeing Shui Yuer's appearance, Fire Dance couldn't help but curl her lips. "Who are you calling a love-struck fool? You tomboy." Hearing Fire Dance call her a love-struck fool, Shui Yuer immediately mocked back. Because of Shui Bing'er, she didn't have a good impression of Fire Dance. "You dare to call me a tomboy?" Being called a tomboy by Shui Yuer, Huowu only felt anger rising in her heart. She glared at Shui Yuer with her fiery red eyes and said, "Say that again if you have the ability." "I'll say it again. You unruly, stubborn, and hot-tempered tomboy. Look at yourself. You don't look like a woman at all. Look at my sister. She's gentle and intelligent, with a slim figure. That's what a woman is. A woman should act like a woman. But I don't think you'll understand that in your lifetime. After all, you are a tomboy." Shui Yuer sized up Fire Dance from head to toe. Her red lips parted slightly, and her tone carried a trace of disdain. Creak. Hearing Shui Yuer's words, Fire Dance clenched her fists so tightly that her knuckles cracked. She glared at Shui Yuer as if she was about to spit fire. "You love-struck fool, do you want to fight with me? TSK, you only know how to fight all day, and you still say you're not a tomboy." Shui Yuer did not panic in the slightest in the face of Huowu's fiery gaze. Instead, she had a calm expression on her face. Her mouth was slightly curled, and there was a trace of disdain on the corners of her mouth. "You." After being ridiculed by Shui Yuer, Fire Dance was furious. Clenching her fists, she took a step forward as if she wanted to pounce on Shui Yuer. "Hey, little sister, calm down, calm down." Seeing that Fire Dance really wanted to hit Shui Yuer, Huo Wushuang hurriedly pulled her back. This was Lu Yuan's territory. It wasn't appropriate for them to fight here. "Yuer, stop talking." Shui Yuer hurriedly called out to Shui Yuer. At the same time, her figure moved slightly, and she stood in front of Shui Yuer, facing Fire Dance. Fire Dance's temper was irritable. She was afraid that Fire Dance would suddenly pounce on Shui Yuer and hurt her. After all, Shui Yuer's strength was inferior to Fire Dance's by a large margin. Seeing the tense atmosphere, Lu Yuan could not help but shake his head slightly. What kind of people were these? They couldn't even speak a few words, and they wanted to fight. Could this be the legendary fire and water are incompatible? "Both of you, please calm down and don't fight. Can you give me some face?" Lu Yuan took 2 steps forward and stood between the two parties as he said faintly, "Okay, Prince Charming. I'll naturally do as you say. Then, I'll be magnanimous and won't bicker with this tomboy." Looking at Lu Yuan, Shui Yuer giggled. Creak. Hearing Shui Yuer call her a tomboy again, Fire Dance couldn't help but clench her fists again. "Little sister, calm down." Seeing Fire Dance's appearance, Huo Wushuang hurriedly comforted her. Meanwhile, Lu Yuan also turned his gaze to Fire Dance. Under Lu Yuan's gaze, Fire Dance clenched her fists, her chest heaving up and down as if she were suppressing her emotions. After a moment, Fire Dance took a deep breath, temporarily suppressing the anger in her heart. She looked at Lu Yuan and said, "Okay, I'll give you face today and not bicker with this love-struck fool. However, don't forget our agreement." "Of course. When the time comes, I'll naturally go up and fight with your Blazing Fire Academy." Lu Yuan chuckled. "Okay, remember your words." Fire Dance said indifferently, glancing at Shui Yuer and Shui Bing'er with an unfriendly gaze. She then turned to Huo Wushuang and said, "Big brother, let's go back." "Okay." Hearing this, Hua Wushuang inwardly breathed a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that his little sister would fight with Shui Yu and Shui Bing here. Now that she was willing to go back, it was a good thing. Then, Brother Lu, we'll take our leave first. Hua Wushuang cupped his hands at Lu Yuan. Brother Wushuang, take care. Lu Yuan said. Hua Wushuang nodded and left with Fire Dance. We should also go. Seeing the siblings leave, Shui Bing tilted her head slightly and said to Shui Yu beside her. Ah, big sister, we've only been here for a while. Why don't we stay a little longer? Shui Yu softly said. There was a trace of reluctance in her voice. Okay, be good. The opening ceremony will begin in a while. We have to go back and prepare. I'll bring you back next time, okay? Shui Bing softly said as she patted Shui Yu's head. Okay then. Shui Yu pouted and looked at Lu Yuan with reluctance. Prince Charming, we'll be leaving first. We'll come and play with you next time. Okay, take care. Lu Yuan faintly smiled and said. Goodbye. Shui Bing softly said. She then pulled the somewhat reluctant Shui Yu and went straight to the northeast corner of the Skywater Academy. Looking at the two's departing figures, Lu Yuan withdrew his gaze and walked lightly. He casually found a seat and sat down. Next should be the opening ceremony. Chapter 521. Brother, when will the opening ceremony begin? Wang Qiu'er was lying on Lu Yuan's back in the resting area. She hugged Lu Yuan's neck tightly and looked around with her pinkish blue eyes. Her red lips parted slightly, and her crisp voice entered Lu Yuan's ears. What's wrong, little Qiu'er? Are you impatient? Lu Yuan smiled and said softly when he heard Wang Qiu'er's words. Yes, it's so boring waiting here. We've waited for more than half an hour, and the opening ceremony hasn't started yet. This competition is progressing so slowly. Wang Qiu'er pouted and said softly. It can't be helped. There are too many people. We have to wait until all the academies have arrived and everything has been arranged properly. That old man Snowy Night Emperor and the leaders of some forces have also arrived before the opening ceremony can begin. However, it's about time. It's already past 8. The opening ceremony should be starting soon. Lu Yuan smiled and said. Is that so? Brother, you said the same thing half an hour ago. You said that the opening ceremony would begin soon, but we're still waiting here. Lu Yuan had just finished speaking when Wang Qiu'er's voice sounded. Cough. Lu Yuan coughed when he heard Wang Qiu'er's words. He rubbed his nose and felt a little awkward. He had originally thought that the opening ceremony would begin at 8. However, he didn't expect them to be so slow. It was almost 8:30, and they still hadn't started. Sigh, I overestimated their efficiency. In the end, I was a little embarrassed by my dear sister's words. Lu Yuan sighed in his heart. However, the resting area was almost full. Lu Yuan was sure that the opening ceremony was about to begin. Lu Yuan glanced around. At the entrance to the resting area, staff members came in to arrange for the teams to enter. All right, Qiu'er. Look, we're about to enter. Lu Yuan smiled as he pointed at the staff members. It's true. It's finally about to begin. Wang Qiu'er's smile blossomed when she saw this scene. She was elated. This girl. Lu Yuan couldn't help but laugh as he shook his head when he sensed Wang Qiu'er's excitement. She was still like a kid. Even though she had lived for thousands of years, she was still very innocent. When Zhu Zhuqing, Hu Lena, and the others were 12 or 13 years old, they were already quite sensible. But then again, being sensible was good, but being pure was also commendable. Lu Yuan was very fond of Wang Qiu'er's purity and innocence. He loved this cute little sister of his very much. Lu Yuan patted Wang Qiu'er's hand and raised his voice as he said to everyone around him, All right, everyone, get ready. We'll be entering the arena soon. Yes, Captain. As soon as Lu Yuan's voice fell, a uniform voice sounded out of nowhere. Little Qiu'er, come down. It's time to enter the arena. Lu Yuan smiled and whispered to Wang Qiu'er, who was lying on top of him. Oh, all right then, Wang Qiu'er replied. She reluctantly climbed up from Lu Yuan's back and took 2 steps forward to stand beside Lu Yuan. Even though this little golden centipede had transformed into a human, it still liked to stick to Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan rubbed Wang Qiu'er's head. His eyes flashed as he looked at the staff members who were walking towards them. Hello, is this the Heavenly Star Academy's team? A staff member came in front of everyone and asked softly. Yes. Lu Yuan said. It's time for your academy to enter the arena. Please follow me. The staff member said. Thank you. Lu Yuan nodded at the staff member and turned around slightly. Everyone, follow me. Yes, Captain. Everyone replied in unison. The group of people followed the staff member's lead and stepped into the entrance tunnel. Wow, there are so many spectators. Ning Rongrong exclaimed in surprise as she looked at the countless cheering spectators in the spacious arena. There should be tens of thousands of people here. This Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament is indeed popular. Lu Yuan said as he casually glanced at the crowd. Yes. Ning Rongrong nodded gently. Her beautiful eyes scanned the area. Suddenly, her gaze froze. Lu Yuan, look, my father is here too. He's in the VIP area. Holding Lu Yuan's hand, Ning Rongrong pointed to a remodeled VIP area at the back of the central arena. She exclaimed in surprise. Lu Yuan glanced at the people in the VIP area and took in all the people in the VIP area. He was familiar with Ning Fengji, the sect leader of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, the Platinum Bishop of the Martial Soul Temple, Sarkaz, the fat pig-like Prince Shuiyi, the white-haired old man with a crown on his head, Emperor Shuiyi, and his share, who was disguised as the Empire's crown prince, Shuiqinghe. Even Dugu Bo, who had been following him all this while, had snuck into the VIP area. Lu Yuan, do you see him? Ning Rongrong asked as she patted Lu Yuan's arm. Yes, I see him. Not only do I see your father, but I also see Elder Dugu. This fellow runs pretty fast. He slipped into the VIP area when I wasn't paying attention. Lu Yuan glanced at Dugu Yang behind him and laughed softly. Dugu Yang smiled when she saw Lu Yuan's gaze. Her lips parted slightly as she said, Grandfather said that the various powers have representatives in the VIP area. The Dragon King Hall should have one too. The Dragon Emperor doesn't like to show his face, so Grandfather can only go up himself. Yes, Elder Dugu is very thoughtful. Lu Yuan nodded his head when he heard Dugu Yang's explanation. Indeed, Yang Shaozhe and Dugu Bo were the only ones in charge of the Dragon King Hall. Long Xiaoyaro and Ma Xiaodao basically didn't care about anything. They were more like bodyguards. While Long Xiaoyaro was in charge of the Law Enforcement Hall, he didn't interfere much in the matters of the Law Enforcement Hall. The Feng, Hue, Lei, and Dian captains were the ones who discussed and acted. Only very important matters would be handled by Long Xiaoyaro. Therefore, Dugu Bo was the only one who could send a representative to the VIP area, given that Yang Shaozhe was staying in the Dragon King Palace to guard the residents. It had to be said that Dugu Bo was quite clear about his position. Lu Yuan was very proud of his decision to recruit Dugu Bo back then. He didn't make a wrong decision. Dugu Bo was very good at doing things. Dugu Yang couldn't help but smile when she heard Lu Yuan praise Dugu Bo for his thoughtfulness. It wasn't easy to be praised by the Hall Master. Over the past 3 months, they had been scolded badly. After all, their cooperation at the start of their training was terrible. They had been scolded a lot because of that. Even she had been scolded more than once. She was used to it. Today, she was a little surprised to hear Lu Yuan praise them. Chapter 522. Everyone continued to move forward. Soon, they stepped out of the entrance tunnel and walked into the plaza. The plaza was very large, with a diameter of more than 150 meters. It looked very spacious. In the center of the plaza was a rostrum. Behind the rostrum was the VIP area where Ning Fengji and the others were. Below the rostrum, the teams that had entered the plaza had already lined up neatly. Every time a team entered, there would be a special MC to introduce them. Next up is the Heavenly Star Academy. The Heavenly Star Academy was originally called the Blue Tyrant Academy, but changed its name to the Heavenly Star Academy a year ago. The Heavenly Star Academy has a total of 9 contestants. Their captain is called Lu Yuan. Maybe everyone doesn't know the name Lu Yuan, but I'm sure everyone is familiar with the name Huang Long. That's right, this Lu Yuan is Huang Long, the person who won 30 consecutive victories in our Heaven Do Great Soul Arena 4 years ago. He set the record of obtaining a purple gold soul emblem in a month. Huang Long was able to set such a dazzling record 4 years ago. What kind of results will he and his teammates achieve in this year's Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament? I'm looking forward to their performance. Hearing the MC's words, the audience below the stage boiled with excitement. Maybe some people didn't know the name Lu Yuan, but in the Heaven Do Great Soul Arena, Huang Long was definitely very famous. After all, Lu Yuan had a lot of fans in the Heaven Do Great Soul Arena. Although 4 years had passed, those fans still remembered his name. Moreover, there were many new people who knew the name Emperor Dragon. It was not because of anything else, but because the name Huang Long had been engraved on the Heaven Do Great Soul Arena's record tablet. A record of obtaining a purple gold soul emblem from an iron soul emblem in a month. Everyone who came to the Heaven Do Great Soul Arena to watch the tournament had the opportunity to see Huang Long's name and record. As a result, his influence was huge. Because 4 years had passed, Lu Yuan had changed a lot, so many people didn't recognize him. But now that the MC said so, many people instantly reacted. The atmosphere became lively. Huang Long. Huang Long. Emperor Dragon. After hearing that Lu Yuan was the Emperor Dragon, many of the old fans from back then started to shout crazily, because no one knew better than them how dazzling this man's performance back then was. Even now, they still couldn't forget Lu Yuan's wonderful battle back then. Hiss, this guy is so popular. Below the rostrum, a young man with a mask on his face exclaimed in surprise from a team whose members were all wearing green uniforms. Feng Xiaotian, you can't be jealous, right? As soon as the young man finished speaking, a man in a fiery red uniform not far from him asked with a smile. Looking at his appearance, it was shockingly the Blazing Fire Academy's captain, Hua Wushuang, whom Lu Yuan had met not long ago. Who's envious? Isn't it just having more fans? I don't care about these things. I, Feng Xiaotian, am not such a superficial person. Hearing Hua Wushuang's words, Feng Xiaotian immediately retorted. Hehe, if you're envious, then so be it. You actually don't want to admit it. I'm different. I dare to admit that I'm envious of him. It's just a pity that I'm not as strong as him. Hearing this, Hua Wushuang chuckled and said, TSK, it doesn't make sense to a rough man like you. Feng Xiaotian curled his lips and turned his gaze to Hua Wu, who was standing behind Hua Wushuang. His eyes suddenly lit up. Sister Hua Wu, long time no see. You've become more beautiful. Is that so? Hua Wu glanced at Feng Xiaotian indifferently, without the slightest change in her expression. Of course, when I saw Sister Hua Wu, I thought that a fairy had descended from the heavens. You're so beautiful that it made me a little dazzled. Feng Xiaotian said with a hint of flattery in his tone. Oh. Hearing this, Hua Wu faintly replied. Her face didn't reveal any happy expression because of Feng Xiaotian's praise. I heard that Sister Hua Wu and that Lu Yuan have made a battle agreement. Feng Xiaotian didn't care about Hua Wu's indifferent expression at all. Instead, he asked with a chuckle. How did you know? Hua Wu asked indifferently. Hehe, I naturally have my own way of doing this. Feng Xiaotian laughed mischievously and said. Then, who do you think will win the battle between me and Lu Yuan? Hua Wu turned her gaze to Feng Xiaotian with a trace of inquiry in her eyes. Of course, Sister Hua Wu will win. With the strength of your Blazing Fire Academy, this Lu Yuan will undoubtedly lose. Seeing Hua Wu's gaze turn towards him, Feng Xiaotian immediately smiled and flattered her. Is that so? But even I don't have as much confidence as you. I think that the possibility of losing is higher. Hua Wu said indifferently after hearing Feng Xiaotian's words. Not long ago, when she was eager to win, She indeed thought that her chances of winning were very high. However, now that she calmed down and thought about it, she wasn't so sure anymore. After all, Lu Yuan's strength back then was obvious to all. Of course, even so, she, Hua Wu, wouldn't be afraid. Hearing this, Feng Xiaotian suddenly became sluggish. He didn't know what to say. Did he flatter the wrong person? Looking at Feng Xiaotian's appearance, Hua Wushuang suddenly shook his head. This guy's feelings for his sister aren't shallow. It's a pity that his sister doesn't like this. It's extremely difficult for a bootlicker to fawn on the goddess. In any case, he didn't think highly of Feng Xiaotian. Hua Wushuang's gaze turned towards Lu Yuan, who was in the center of the square. He couldn't help but sigh softly in his heart. A real man should be like this. In the square, Lu Yuan and the others were still moving forward. Facing the fiery eyes of the spectators from all directions and listening to their crazy shouts, Lu Yuan still had a calm look on his face. There wasn't the slightest change in his expression. It was just like when he was in the Heaven Do Great Soul Arena. Lu Yuan, you're so popular. Looking at Lu Yuan, who was shining like a star, Ning Rongrong's eyes were filled with unconcealable admiration. This man was really too dazzling. Her little heart was beating non-stop. How could he be so outstanding? Hearing the admiration in Ning Rongrong's voice, Lu Yuan smiled faintly. He had seen such a scene more than once. He was almost used to it. However, it should be the first time for Ning Rongrong and the others. Especially Wang Qiu, who had never seen such a scene before. Her little face was flushed, and her face was filled with excitement. She looked at Lu Yuan with deep admiration. Brother is so amazing. Wang Qiu thought to herself. Chapter 523. Under the gazes of the countless spectators, Lu Yuan and the others walked down from the platform. What they needed to do was to line up properly and listen to the old man, the Snowy Night Emperor, say some unimportant nonsense. After that, they would have to go through a series of messy events. Finally, the old man, Sarkis, would draw the teams for the competition and decide their opponents for the preliminaries. Only after all these matters were completed could the qualifiers officially begin. Lu Yuan and the others were very fast. It didn't take long for them to arrive at the platform. After experiencing the cheers of the countless spectators, the arrival of Lu Yuan and the others immediately attracted the attention of the numerous teams that had already gathered here. Practically every single one of them had a grave expression on their faces as they looked at them. The Botany Academy, Blazing Academy, Thunder Academy, Divine Wind Academy, Skywater Academy, and the other academies had already entered the arena and were lining up properly. The moment Lu Yuan entered, all of their gazes were focused on Lu Yuan. Suddenly, Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed. Among the numerous gazes, there was a gaze filled with resentment that instantly attracted Lu Yuan's attention. Glancing around, Lu Yuan instantly caught the owner of that resentful gaze. Thunder Academy's Yu Tianxin? No wonder. Seeing that it was Yu Tianxin looking at him with that resentful gaze, Lu Yuan instantly understood. After all, back in the Heaven Do Imperial Academy, not only had he suppressed Yu Tianheng to the ground like a dead dog, he had also humiliated the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. He had even ridiculed Yu Tianxin himself. It was normal for Yu Tianxin to harbor resentment in his heart. However, trash like Yu Tianxin wasn't worthy of his attention. He was nothing more than an ant. Lu Yuan lightly glanced at Yu Tianxin, then retracted his gaze. He decisively ignored Yu Tianxin's resentful gaze. Damn it! Seeing that Lu Yuan had actually ignored him, Yu Tianxin fiercely clenched his fists, the flames of anger rising in his heart. This guy was still as repulsive as before. Lu Yuan, this time, I will definitely defeat you. Yu Tianxin's knuckles cracked as he clenched his fists. Back then, he wasn't a match for Lu Yuan. However, his strength had improved by leaps and bounds. Moreover, this qualifier was a team competition. He was confident that he could defeat Lu Yuan. At that time, he would trample him to the ground and ruthlessly humiliate him to avenge the past. Yu Tianxin swore in her heart. Lu Yuan naturally didn't know what Yu Tianxin was thinking. Even if he knew, he wouldn't take it to heart. Yu Tianxin, a mere level 44, wanted to challenge him. If he went all out, Lu Yuan could blow him up with a single punch. This kind of trash was not worthy of his attention. If they really met, Wang Qiu'er and the others could just play around with them. He believed that Wang Qiu'er's golden dragon would give Yu Tianxin a pleasant surprise. When the blue lightning Tyrannosaurus met the gold dragon, the result would be very touching. Facing the gazes of the many teams, Lu Yuan continued to walk forward. He looked around slightly, looking for a suitable place to set up camp. Prince Charming, look here. Just as Lu Yuan was looking for a place, Shui Yu'er was waving at them from the direction of the Skywater Academy. There was an empty place next to the Skywater Academy. It was just right for them to set up camp. Nodding at Shui Yu'er, Lu Yuan led the team in the direction of the Skywater Academy. Soon, Lu Yuan and the others walked into the place and lined up. 9 people lined up in a row. Lu Yuan naturally stood at the front. Zhu Zhuqing was behind him. Behind Zhu Zhuqing was Wang Qiu'er, followed by Dugu Yang, Ning Rongrong and the others. Lu Yuan and the others were positioned between the Skywater Academy and the Godwind Academy. Because Lu Yuan was at the front, his left side was Feng Xiaotian and his right side was Shui Yu'er. Shui Yu'er was behind Shui Yu'er. At this moment, she was staring at him with her ice blue eyes. Prince Charming, we meet again. Shui Yu'er giggled. En. Hearing this, Lu Yuan gently nodded. A trace of a smile appeared on his face. This girl Shui Yu'er was very cute. Lu Yuan had a good impression of her. Of course, it was absolutely not because she called Lu Yuan Prince Charming. Absolutely not. Prince Charming, I didn't expect your popularity to be so high. The cheers of the audience outside the arena just now shocked me. Shui Yu'er blinked her ice blue eyes and said with a charming face. Oh, it's okay. Your popularity is also very high. You see, the audience outside is staring at you. Lu Yuan said with a chuckle. The number of female students participating in the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament was definitely far less than the number of male students. Generally, Soul Master students were basically composed of male students, or mixed in with a few female students. Under such circumstances, the Skywater Academy's team composed entirely of female students was particularly eye-catching. Furthermore, every student in the Skywater Academy's team was a beauty. Shui Yu'er and Shui Yu'er were top-notch beauties. Furthermore, they were all wearing ice blue dresses. When gathered together like this, it was a particularly eye-catching sight. 9 out of 10 male spectators outside were staring at them. It couldn't be helped. Who asked these beauties to be so pleasing to the eye? Hee. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Shui Yu'er giggled. Her smiling face was like a flower. It was really cute to the extreme. Lu Yuan, don't chat anymore. It's starting. Just as Lu Yuan was chatting with Shui Yu'er, Zhu Zhuqing poked him from behind. Lu Yuan turned around and saw that the old man, Snowy Night Emperor, was on the rostrum. He was about to start his speech. Phew, another bunch of senseless nonsense. Seeing Snowy Night Emperor on the rostrum, Lu Yuan curled his lips and said, I hope he can speak faster and not waste too much time. What he hated the most was speaking senseless nonsense. For example, an opening speech that could last for half an hour. Just listening to it made people irritated. However, this time, it was out of Lu Yuan's expectations. Snowy Night Emperor's speech was very brief. First, he gave a few words of encouragement. Then, he decisively announced the start of the competition. This made Lu Yuan somewhat surprised. Oh, this Snowy Night Emperor's personality changed. He actually only said a few words. Lu Yuan said somewhat doubtfully. This was not in line with the style of those so-called leaders. Weren't they supposed to be eloquent, spouting empty and meaningless nonsense? Today, Snowy Night Emperor had somewhat refreshed Lu Yuan's view. Just as Lu Yuan was somewhat surprised, Shui Yu'er's voice entered his ears. Perhaps Snowy Night Emperor's health is not very good. I heard that these days, Snowy Night Emperor handed over a lot of matters to Crown Prince Xueqinghe. He rarely cares about these matters. This made Lu Yuan's heart tremble. Snowy Night Emperor's health is not good. Chapter 524. The Snowy Night Emperor isn't well. Lu Yuan was shocked when he heard this. Could it be? He turned to Shui Bing-er with a serious look in his eyes. How did you find out about this? It came from the palace. This is no longer a secret to the various powers in Heavendoe Imperial City. Anyone with a bit of information would know about this. The Emperor's health isn't very good. He's already invited many imperial physicians, but there's still no sign of improvement. Over the past few days, many matters have been slowly handed over to the Crown Prince to handle. The Emperor doesn't really care about anything other than attending court occasionally. It's only because today is the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament, and it's very important. Otherwise, the Emperor wouldn't have appeared. Shui Bing-er said softly. I see. Lu Yuan said softly when he heard this. Why? You don't know about this? She looked at Lu Yuan strangely when she saw that Lu Yuan seemed to be enlightened. I've been busy over the past few months. I don't have the time to pay attention to these things. That's why I don't know about this. Lu Yuan said. Oh. Shui Bing-er nodded when she heard this. Smiling at Shui Bing-er, Lu Yuan turned around, his polychoria eyes flashing with light. The Snowy Night Emperor's health isn't good now. This should be Cher's doing. However, the situation isn't stable yet. Why is Cher so anxious? Or perhaps Xuer had some other plans in mind. No wonder Chihiro Snow didn't look for him even though he'd been back for more than 3 months. It seemed like he had too many things to do, and couldn't leave for a while. Furthermore, he had to concoct pills, create soul tools, and occasionally train his team. He was also very busy, and didn't have the time to see Chihiro Snow. This meant that the two of them hadn't seen each other even though he'd been back in Heavendoe Imperial City for 3 months. It seems like I have to find time to see Cher. Speaking of which, I'm not a good boyfriend. I haven't contacted my girlfriend for 3 months. I wonder if Cher will resent me when I see her again. And if Xuer did something to the Snowy Night Emperor, then I'll have to talk to her about it. She didn't even discuss such an important matter with me. If something happens to the Snowy Night Emperor too early, then I won't be able to take control of the Heavendoe Empire. Moreover, if you take too big a step, it's easy to make mistakes. In the original work, wasn't it because you acted too hastily that you made mistakes? I have to remind Xuer of this. But for now, I should finish today's qualifiers first before thinking about other things, Lu Yuan thought to himself. Thank you for your wonderful speech, Your Majesty. Next, let's welcome the sect leader of the 7 Treasures Glazed Sect, Mr. Ning Fengji, to give a speech for this competition. Oh, it's Ning Fengji's turn. Looking at Ning Fengji's impassioned speech on the stage, Lu Yuan let out a soft "oh." Since it was Ning Fengji now, would it be Du Gubo's turn later? After thinking about it, Lu Yuan felt that it was very possible. After all, the Dragon King Hall's reputation wasn't inferior to the 7 Treasures Glazed Sects. If the 7 Treasures Glazed Sect was the wealthiest among the 4 upper sects, then the Dragon King Hall was the strongest sect. Even without Ma Xiaodao and Ziji, everyone knew that the Dragon King Hall had Long Xiaoyaro, Yang Shaozhe, Du Gubo, and the Frenzy Rhino Douluo. Among them, Long Xiaoyaro was an ultimate soul Douluo. In terms of deterrence, the Dragon King Hall was much stronger than the 7 Treasures Glazed Sect. Since Ning Fengji had spoken, then Du Gubo would definitely be able to join in as well. However, with Du Gubo, what kind of legitimate speech could he make? Lu Yuan was doubtful. Very soon, Ning Fengji's speech ended. It was short, but it was just right. It was in line with Ning Fengji's character. He was decisive, but watertight. Even though he had a soul tool as his trump card, Lu Yuan wasn't sure if he could completely control this old fox. This person wasn't simple at all. If not for Lu Yuan's foresight and intelligence, and if not for the fact that he had grasped Ning Fengji's lifeline, it would have been very difficult to deal with this old fox. After Ning Fengji finished speaking, the MC's voice rang out again. Sect Master Ning, as the strongest auxiliary-type Soul Master, I would like to ask you on behalf of the audience. Among the 28 teams participating in the Heaven Do City's qualifiers, which team do you think will win? Hearing this, Ning Fengji smiled faintly and said, aside from the Heaven Do First team, which is one of the seeded teams in the finals, I have high hopes for the Heavenly Star Academy. I'm sure everyone has heard of their captain, Huang Long. I believe that not only will they be able to pass the preliminaries, they might even be able to become the champions of the Continental Elite Tournament. Oh! The MC was a little surprised. Sect Master Ning thinks so highly of the Heavenly Star Academy led by Mr. Huang Long? Of course. After all, their captain, Huang Long, is an inconceivable genius that can't be described with common sense. Ning Fengji praised from the bottom of his heart. As he spoke, Ning Fengji looked in Lu Yuan's direction. On the other side, Lu Yuan also looked up, and the two of them looked straight at each other. Seeing this, the corner of Ning Fengji's mouth curled up into a smile, and he nodded at Lu Yuan kindly. Sly old fox, Lu Yuan muttered in his heart. After Ning Fengji's words, it could be said that the Heavenly Star Academy had been pushed to the heart of the struggle. It could be expected that after this, every battle team would pay 120% attention to them. After all, this was the battle team that the 7 treasures-colored glaze sect's Sect Master Ning favored. Who would dare to belittle them? This invisibly increased the Heavenly Star Academy's resistance. As soon as Ning Fengji's voice fell, the audience's gaze changed. Even Shui Bing-er, who was standing beside him, looked at him with a more dignified gaze. It was obvious that Ning Fengji's words had an effect. What is this old fox planning? What is his goal? Or is he just afraid that we will win too easily, so he wants to increase the difficulty for us? After all, this old fox knows the approximate strength of Zhuqing and I. Given Rong Rong's personality, after knowing my level, she will definitely run to Ning Fengji to show off her treasures, praising me for being a genius and how good her eyesight is. Lightly touching his chin, Lu Yuan thought to himself. Chapter 525. Could it be that this old fox is feeling a little uncomfortable because Rong Rong has praised me so many times in front of him? Does he feel that his cabbage has been taken by a pig, no, a dragon, so he's taking revenge on society? Yes, that's very likely. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense why this old man would find trouble for us. Lu Yuan made malicious guesses in his heart. After Ning Fengji finished speaking, he leisurely returned to his seat. Next, let's welcome the poison Douluo from the Dragon King Hall to give a speech. Everyone, please welcome him. After Ning Fengji returned to his seat, the MC's voice sounded again. Immediately, Douluo stood up from the VIP area. He patted his sleeves and tidied up his attire. Then, with his hands behind his back, he slowly walked toward the rostrum with 28 steps. Seeing Douluo like this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but twitch his mouth. When did this old man learn to put on airs? Ahem. Douluo patted the microphone and coughed twice. Hello everyone, I'm Douluo. I'm very happy to be able to meet everyone here today. I'm not as eloquent as Sect Master Ning and the others. I can only give everyone encouragement and blessings. I hope that everyone can achieve satisfactory results in this Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament. Of course, other than verbal encouragement, there are also practical rewards. The top 5 in the Heaven Do District's qualifiers will each receive a longevity pill and a youth retaining pill from the Dragon King Hall's Medicine Hall. Each longevity pill can increase one's lifespan by 5 years. As the name suggests, the youth retaining pill can preserve one's youth forever. Even if one is 70 or 80 years old, one will still be as beautiful as a young girl. These longevity pills and youth retaining pills were personally refined by the Dragon King Hall's Hall Master. They are extremely rare and precious. I hope that everyone can work harder and achieve better results with these pills as your rewards. Alright, that's all I have to say. With that, Douluo clapped his hands and turned slightly. He was about to walk toward the VIP area. Poison Douluo, please don't leave yet. I still have 2 questions for you. Seeing that Douluo was about to leave, the MC hurriedly called out to him. Oh, go ahead and ask. Hearing the MC's voice, Douluo turned around. It's like this. Just now, you said that the longevity pill and ageless pill can really prolong life and preserve eternal youth. The master of ceremonies' eyes emitted a trace of strange light, and his tone carried a trace of eagerness. Of course. These longevity elixir and ageless elixir were personally refined by our palace master. Their quality is guaranteed. Every longevity elixir and ageless elixir are of high quality. The efficacy will only be stronger than what I said. You should know that our Dragon King Palace has a good reputation in this aspect. We never cheat anyone, Douluo said with a serious face. As soon as he said that, a fervent look appeared in the eyes of the audience. Even Emperor Shuiyi and Ning Fengji had a look of desire in their eyes. Even they wanted such a pill very much. Especially the Snowy Night Emperor, he felt that his body was getting worse and worse. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to live for more than a few years. If he could buy a few longevity pills and eat them, wouldn't he be able to live for a few more years? Thinking about it, he felt a little happy. Looking at Douluo, the Snowy Night Emperor's eyes glowed. Is this your doing? Zhu Zhuqing, who was standing behind Lu Yuan, couldn't help but poke Lu Yuan's body when she saw Douluo advertising during the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament speech. No, this should be Elder Douluo's idea. Back then, he told me that he had a way to make the longevity elixir and ageless elixir famous in the shortest time possible. He even took 5 of each type of pill from me. So this was his idea. I have to say that it's a very good idea. In this way, I'm afraid that the entire Heaven Do city will know about the longevity elixir and ageless elixir in less than a day. Lu Yuan whispered into Zhu Zhuqing's ear. It seems like Elder Douluo is very capable. Zhu Zhuqing was a little surprised. She originally thought that this was Lu Yuan's doing. She didn't expect it to be Douluo's idea. Elder Douluo is indeed very capable. It seems like he's learned a lot in this year of being in charge of the Dragon King Palace. He's fully aroused the enthusiasm and thirst of the audience. Lu Yuan sighed softly. Haha, it seems like after today, the longevity elixir and ageless elixir will sell like crazy. You're going to be rich. Zhu Zhuqing smiled with a rare trace of playfulness on her face. If I'm rich, isn't that the same as you being rich? Lu Yuan smiled. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing's face turned slightly red. She looked coquettishly at Lu Yuan, but the smile on her face couldn't be stopped. Ahem, I've asked the first question. Now, I'd like to ask you, who do you think will win the Heaven Do Competition Zone's 28 teams? After suppressing the shock in his heart, the MC asked Douluo a second question. After all, this was the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament's qualifiers. These matters were important. The longevity elixir and ageless elixir were just side issues. Which team do you think will win the Heaven Do competition? It has to be the Heavenly Star Academy. Hearing this, Douluo stroked his beard and said decisively, Oh, can you tell me the reason why you think so highly of the Heavenly Star Academy? The MC asked again. Reason? There are many reasons. Mainly, there are 3 reasons. The first reason is naturally that my granddaughter Douluo Yang is in the Heavenly Star Academy's team. I'm quite optimistic about my granddaughter's strength. Douluo said. Oh, so your granddaughter is in the Heavenly Star Academy's team. May I ask the second reason? The second reason is naturally that the daughter of the 7 Treasures Glazed Sect's Sect Master Ning is also in the Heavenly Star Academy's team. With the help of the 7 Treasures Glazed Pagoda, I naturally have confidence in the Heavenly Star Academy's team. Douluo said indifferently. Whoosh. Hearing this, everyone's gaze fell on Ning Fengji. Facing everyone's gaze, Ning Fengji smiled and said, That's right, my daughter is indeed in the Heavenly Star Academy's team. Hearing Ning Fengji's words, the audience and many other teams' gazes immediately fell on Lu Yuan and the others. They didn't think that the Heavenly Star Academy's team would actually hide two people with such a background. One was the poisoned Douluo's granddaughter, and the other was the daughter of the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect's sect master. To be able to gather these two people in a team, the Heavenly Star Academy's background was probably not simple. Furthermore, the team members' backgrounds were so great. Then the team leader, called Lu Yuan, the former Emperor Dragon, probably had an even greater background. Chapter 526. Then what's the third reason? Looking at Douluo, the MC's voice sounded. The third reason is naturally because of the Heavenly Star Academy's captain, Lu Yuan, who is also the former Emperor Dragon. To be honest, in this old man's entire life, I have never seen a genius like him. No matter how dazzling the Heaven's pride is, in front of him, they all pale in comparison. This old man dares to say that with him, the champion of this year's Continental Elite Tournament will definitely belong to the Heavenly Star Academy. Douluo said resolutely. Looking at Douluo's face, which was full of confidence that the Heavenly Star Academy would win the championship, many of the spectators couldn't help but click their tongues. Wasn't he too optimistic about the Heavenly Star Academy? In addition, Ning Fengji also said that he was optimistic about the Heavenly Star Academy's team. For a moment, Lu Yuan's team became the strongest enemy in the hearts of all the teams present. A titled Douluo, an elder of the superpower Dragon King Palace, and the sect master of the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect. Who would dare to look down on a team that these two people were optimistic about? One could imagine that in the future, every match of Lu Yuan's team would be watched by many academies, just to probe their strength. After probing their strength, they would definitely come up with many strategies to deal with them. In this way, the difficulty of the tournament would increase by a lot. Although, Lu Yuan's heart didn't really care that much. It was just that Douluo praised him like this on the rostrum, which made him feel a little embarrassed, even though Douluo was indeed speaking the truth. Senior Douluo praising you like this, are you very happy? Behind him, Zhu Zhuqing's voice sounded in Lu Yuan's ear. What's there to be happy about? Isn't this the truth? What's there to be happy about? Hearing this, Lu Yuan slightly tilted his head and said indifferently, "Pei, your skin is really thick." Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but spit. This man's skin was really thick. Senior Douluo dared to praise him, and he actually dared to accept it. He really wasn't modest at all. "Little kitty, what are you saying?" Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's soft voice, Lu Yuan couldn't help but look at Zhu Zhuqing, sizing up her body, with a trace of a strange smile on the corner of his mouth. "Don't mess around, there are so many people here." Seeing Lu Yuan's unbridled gaze, Zhu Zhuqing hurriedly crossed her arms in front of her chest and bit her red lips with her pearly white teeth. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing's cautious appearance, Lu Yuan couldn't help but chuckle. This kitten was really interesting. What could he do in public? She actually took it seriously. Looking at the teasing expression on Lu Yuan's face, Zhu Zhuqing immediately reacted and glared at Lu Yuan. It was all this pervert's fault. He had bullied her so much that it had become a conditioned reflex. Hee, Lu Yuan smiled faintly, rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's head, and turned back. At this moment, there were many people staring at him. It was all Douluo's fault for not keeping his mouth shut. This time, he had successfully attracted everyone's attention. Originally, there were many academies that didn't recognize him, but with Douluo's words, he had become completely famous, and even the Heavenly Star Academy had become completely famous. This old man really knew how to play. After Douluo finished speaking, he even winked at Lu Yuan. Coupled with that old face, Lu Yuan felt a chill in his heart. If it was a little beauty who winked at him, it would naturally be very charming, but this old man Douluo was still winking at him. Lu Yuan's feelings could only be described with one word. That was It was really a little disgusting. Fortunately, after Douluo said a few words, he returned to the VIP area. When he returned, the originally restless atmosphere in the square temporarily calmed down. Of course, the words he said were still firmly remembered in everyone's hearts. Cough cough. Thank you for His Majesty Poison Douluo's wonderful speech, and also thank the Dragon King Palace for providing the prizes for this competition. Next, we will enter the official part of today's qualifiers. Now, we invite the Heaven Do Martial Spirit Temple's Platinum Bishop, Lord Salas, to draw lots for the first round of the qualifiers. After the host's voice sounded, Salas slowly walked to the host's side and began to draw lots. Every time a lot was drawn, the host would announce it. First round of the qualifiers, Oakland Academy vs Purple Star Academy. Second round of the qualifiers, Thunder Academy vs Blazing Radiance Academy. Prince Charming, which academy do you want to be drawn against in the first round of the qualifiers? While the list of the qualifiers was being announced, Shui Yue looked at Lu Yuan, and her clear voice sounded. I don't care about that, whoever is drawn is fine. Lu Yuan shrugged, looked at Shui Yue's cute face, and asked, then what about you, who do you want to be drawn against? We just hope that we don't meet Prince Charming. Of course, it would be better if we don't meet any of the stronger teams. Shui Yue giggled. Hearing this, Shui Bing who was standing in front of Shui Yue, couldn't help but nod. Of course, they would want to have an easy first round. Then I wish you good luck. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. He turned around and saw that the drawing of lots was still going on. First round of the qualifiers, Godwind Academy vs Botany Academy. First round of the qualifiers, Skywater Academy vs Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Hey! Your opponent is Heaven Do's second team. Your luck is pretty good, Heaven Do's second team is a group of rookies. Looks like you can get off to a good start. After hearing Skywater Academy's opponent, Lu Yuan couldn't help but look at the sisters and chuckle. Our luck is indeed good, but I believe that Prince Charming's luck will also be very good. Shui Yue giggled and said softly, then I'll count on your auspicious words. Lu Yuan smiled and looked in the direction of the rostrum again. At this moment, Sarkaz happened to draw two more lots. First round of the qualifiers, Sky Star Academy vs Tsunghui Academy. Taking the lot in Sarkaz's hand, the MC's voice sounded again. Tsunghui Academy? Hearing the MC's voice, Lu Yuan couldn't help but be startled. Their first opponent was Tsunghui Academy. This was a bit of a coincidence. However, when Lu Yuan saw Sarkaz subtly casting a friendly glance at him from the rostrum, Lu Yuan felt much more at ease. Just as he had thought, how could there be such a coincidence? So it was this old man who had deliberately arranged this. However, he didn't dislike this arrangement. Because for Tsunghui Academy, Lu Yuan didn't like it either. It seems that their lead teacher, Shenyan, has an illusion skull. Should I get it? This skull is quite suitable for Rong Rong, and Shenyan doesn't seem to be a good person. He has hunted many young geniuses. In the original work, he even wanted to hunt Tang San, but was killed instead. Lu Yuan secretly thought in his heart. Chapter 527. So, for that illusory realm soul bone, should I kill Shenyan, kill him, or kill him? Lu Yuan rubbed his chin with his right hand as he muttered to himself. Killing an illusory realm soul sage was too easy for him. A few strikes from the golden dragon spear would be enough. As for why it was so easy, it was because his Polychoria, Clear Aura Divine Seed, and Clear Aura Scripture all gave him the ability to be immune to illusions. Shenyan would not be able to fight back against him at all. However, after thinking about it carefully, Lu Yuan gave up on this idea. Forget it. No matter what, Shenyan did not provoke me at this time. Killing for a soul bone is not in line with my character. There are many soul bones that are suitable for Rong Rong. I will definitely be able to find them in the future. Furthermore, the 7 Treasures glazed sect is so rich. They should be able to take out a few soul bones. Lu Yuan tapped his chin lightly as a thought flashed through his mind. However, my murderous aura has really become heavier over the past year. Is it the result of using the God-slaying spear? Is it because after the God-slaying spear's power was fully displayed, the murderous aura from the God-slaying spear was integrated into my body? Fortunately, although this murderous aura is terrifying, I can completely control it. It seems that having a high spiritual power does have a lot of benefits. If I can refine this murderous aura into my attacks, I will definitely be more powerful in battle. After all, this murderous aura is not something that ordinary people can withstand. It seems that I can start creating the fourth spear technique. Lu Yuan pondered in his heart. Prince Charming, your luck is not bad. This Tsanghui Academy doesn't seem to be very strong. It seems that you will have an easy time in the first round of the qualifiers. Just as Lu Yuan was deep in thought, Shui Yuer's voice sounded again. As soon as Shui Yuer's voice sounded, Lu Yuan was immediately awakened from his deep thoughts. Hehe, it's all thanks to your auspicious words just now. Lu Yuan smiled faintly as he said. Hehe. Hearing this, Shui Yuer giggled. She smiled until her eyes were squinted like a small crescent moon. She was really cute. Looking at Shui Yuer's adorable smile, Lu Yuan smiled and shook his head. He turned around slightly and saw that the drawing of lots had already ended. All right. Many thanks to the Platinum Bishop of the Martial Spirit Temple, Lord Salas, for drawing the lots for us. The first match of the qualifiers will be between the Skywater Academy and the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. All other participating academies, please leave the stage. The two academies that will be participating in the next round, please prepare yourselves. The tournament will begin in 15 minutes. I didn't expect it to be you guys in the first round. Good luck. Listening to the Master of Ceremonies, Lu Yuan smiled and said to Shui Yuer and Shui Yuer. Well, thank you. Water Ice's voice sounded. Yes, we will. Prince Charming, remember to watch our wonderful performance later. Shui Yuer said with a smile. Oh, you will. Then I wish you all the best. We'll be leaving first. Nodding to Shui Yuer and Shui Yuer, Lu Yuan said softly as he looked at the teams of the other academies that had already left the stage. Prince Charming, take care. Shui Yuer's soft voice rang out. Okay. Lu Yuan nodded slightly, then turned around and nodded to everyone behind him. Let's go. Saying so, he walked towards the resting area from before. This was the place where the other academies rested and waited for their turn to fight. The resting area wasn't very far from the central competition area, but it wasn't very convenient to watch the matches. Looking from afar, people with poor eyesight would be able to see very blurry things. Of course, if one wanted to watch the matches, they could also go to the stands to watch. There was a special area here for the participating teams. It could be said that the tournament organizer's design was quite reasonable in this regard. Sitting down in the original resting area, the Skywater Academy's match was in the first round. As for the other academies, they should be in the back. Today was the opening ceremony, so the competition area was only in the central plaza. But starting tomorrow, the tournament would be divided into 4 areas, namely the A, B, C, and C divisions. This way, the tournament would progress much faster. There were a total of 28 teams in the qualifiers. Every team would have to compete. In other words, Lu Yuan's team would have to fight 27 matches in the qualifiers alone. Every team would have to compete once every day. After 27 matches, the rankings would be based on the number of victories. This was the rule of the qualifiers. Based on the rule of 2 days of rest for every 5 days of competition, the qualifiers alone would take over a month. In addition to the advancement matches and the finals, the entire tournament would probably last for at least 3 months. Perhaps, it would take even longer. As expected of the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament held once every 5 years, the scale was truly grand. Aren't you going to watch their matches? They're letting you see their spectacular performances. Zhu Zhuqing stood in front of Lu Yuan with her arms crossed as she watched Lu Yuan sit down. Her cold face was expressionless. Lu Yuan shook his head. There's no need. Heaven Do Imperial Academy's second team is just a bunch of noobs. They won't be able to force the Skywater Academy to show their strength. There's nothing to see. It's better for us to prepare for our own matches. You're really not going to watch? The Skywater Academy has so many beauties. They're all wearing the same uniform. They're all cute and youthful. Don't you guys like to see these kinds of things? Zhu Zhuqing whispered as she looked at Lu Yuan with a strange expression. Lu Yuan shook his head helplessly. Didn't he just say a few words to Shui Yu'er? This little kitty is here again. All right, stop messing around. Lu Yuan looked at Zhu Zhuqing with a hint of rebuke in his eyes. Oh. Zhu Zhuqing muttered an "oh" when she saw Lu Yuan's expression. However, she felt relaxed inside. Lu Yuan's reaction meant that he really didn't have such intentions. All right, everyone come over here for a moment. I have something to say, Lu Yuan said softly as he beckoned everyone over. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, everyone gathered around. Wang Qiu'er ran over to Lu Yuan's side and sat down, hugging Lu Yuan's arm. Lu Yuan smiled and patted Wang Qiu'er's hand. Then, he turned his gaze to everyone. Our first opponent for the qualifiers is the Tsunghue Academy. This academy isn't very strong. The only thing worth noting is their 7-person fusion technique. Lu Yuan said faintly. 7-soul fusion skill? Hearing Lu Yuan's words, everyone's eyes were filled with astonishment. The Tsunghue Academy still had such a trump card. Yes, a 7-soul fusion skill. It's a 7-soul fusion skill formed by 7 gemstone martial souls. It's an illusion-type soul skill. It's not very destructive, but it's a little strange. People with weak spiritual power will be easily affected. Chapter 528. This time, Zhuqing and I will not be fighting. Everything depends on you. If a mere Tsunghue Academy wants us to fight, then training you for the past 3 months is meaningless. You can go home, wash up, and sleep. Lu Yuan said indifferently. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, everyone nodded with a serious expression. If they couldn't even deal with an unknown academy like Tsunghue Academy, then they would really be letting down Lu Yuan's painstaking training. Since their 7-figure fusion technique is an illusion, then people with strong spiritual power should be able to resist it. Fu Qinsheng said. Lu Yuan looked at him approvingly and said, Qinsheng is right. No matter how powerful the 7-figure fusion technique is, it is only a 7-figure fusion technique. It is not a heaven-defying 7-figure martial soul fusion technique. So even if it is quite strange, as long as there is a certain method, it is not difficult to break it. Moreover, you have already prepared in advance. So, either you defeat the Tsunghue Academy before they have the time to use this 7-person fusion technique, or you counterattack and defeat them after falling into the illusion. This battle mainly depends on Qinsheng and Qiu'er. Qinsheng, you're a spiritual control type soul master, and you're already at rank 45. Your spiritual power is comparable to a soul king's, and Qiu'er has the golden dragon martial soul. The golden dragon is an extremely powerful martial soul, and it has its own unique senses. Illusions shouldn't have much effect on you. That's why I'm not worried about you losing this battle. What I want is a clean victory. Sect Master Ning and Senior Dugu were very optimistic about us, so we can't afford to lose face here. In this battle, we have to show our elegance. It is best to end the battle within a minute. Lu Yuan said indifferently. Within a minute. Hearing this, Fu Qinsheng and the others looked at each other. It was not difficult for them to win, but to end the battle within a minute was not a simple matter. You guys should discuss this among yourselves. The 7-person fusion technique that I mentioned just now is Tsunghue Academy's deepest trump card, and today is only the first match. They may not use it. But regardless of whether they use it or not, I'm more inclined towards the first combat method I mentioned earlier. Crush them with a thunderous momentum and directly flatten them. Only in this way can we better display our momentum. Qiu'er, Lingwei, one of you has a golden dragon martial soul, while the other has a terraclaw bear martial soul. You must display the strength of your martial souls. If I'm not satisfied with this fight, haha, everyone will be punished when we return. None of you will be able to escape. Lu Yuan's somewhat serious voice sounded. Yes, Captain. As soon as Lu Yuan's voice fell, everyone immediately responded in unison, their voices loud and clear. All right, I'll leave the rest to Qin Sheng. Everything is up to you. I won't interfere anymore, Lu Yuan said faintly. Yes, Captain. Everyone replied in unison. Come, Zhu Qing, sit. On this side, Fu Qin Sheng and the rest gathered together to discuss, while Lu Yuan pulled Zhu Zhuqing to sit at one side, flirting leisurely. Lu Yuan, isn't 1 minute too short? Zhu Zhuqing asked softly as she sat beside Lu Yuan. It's not short. With their abilities, it's enough. Lu Yuan smiled slightly and said, just now, I purposely mentioned Tsanghui Academy's 7-person fusion technique just to provoke them. This is only the first round of the qualifiers, and we're a strong team that the two big bosses think highly of. Tsanghui Academy won't use such an important 7-person fusion technique in the first round. Xinian isn't a fool. If they use it now, won't all the other teams know? The 7-person fusion technique is indeed powerful, but as I said, there are always flaws to be exploited, and once this trump card is gone, how far can the Tsanghui Academy go with their three-legged cat skills? They're not like us. Even if Chou and the rest's abilities are all exposed, it doesn't matter. As long as the two of us are here, it's enough to beat everything. Why do you think Senior Dugu and the rest are so unscrupulous, and they think highly of us in public? That's because they know our abilities. It's impossible for us to lose. That's why they said that. Otherwise, if they make a mistake, they'll be the ones losing face. Lu Yuan said softly. Oh, so you're saying that just to provoke their fighting spirit? Zhu Zhuqing asked. Yes. Lu Yuan glanced at the people who were discussing and smiled. Don't look at how obedient these guys are in front of me. In fact, they're all arrogant. If I don't provoke them, they'll hide it. I've said before, I want to win the first round cleanly. This is Tianxing Academy's first battle. It's very important, and we can't afford to lose. You're so scheming. Even your own people are scheming. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but roll her eyes at Lu Yuan. Haha, how can this be called scheming? This is called reasonable motivation. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Stroking Zhu Zhuqing's long hair, Lu Yuan's gaze turned towards the entrance of the resting area. Separated by nearly 300 meters, Lu Yuan could clearly see the battle taking place in the center area. TSK, Tiando Imperial Academy is really weak. Lu Yuan couldn't help but smack his lips as he watched Tiando Imperial Academy's second team being beaten up by Shui Bing-er's Ice Phoenix. What's going on? How's the match going? Zhu Zhuqing looked into the distance, but 300 meters away, she could only see a small black dot. The silhouette was very blurry, and she couldn't see it clearly. What else can they do? Tiando Imperial Academy's second team is being beaten up. I didn't expect this Shui Bing-er to be so strong. Her Ice Phoenix martial soul is already a top-tier martial soul, and it's only a step away from ultimate ice. If they really fight, if we don't go up, only Chioa can win. Lu Yuan said softly. She's that strong? I think she's only at rank 44. Zhu Zhuqing said. Yes, she's only at rank 44, but her Ice Phoenix martial soul is very strong. Furthermore, phoenixes are the kings of birds, and naturally suppress martial souls like serpents and flood dragons. Furthermore, the ice element has a certain resistance to poison. It's because of this that Dugu Yang might not be able to defeat her even though her soul power is several ranks higher. This Shui Bing-er is indeed a genius. I heard that she's only 18 this year. That's really rare. If you didn't have so many fortuitous encounters, you wouldn't even be able to compare to her at her age. Lu Yuan sighed softly. Chapter 529. Hearing Lu Yuan's praise, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but nod. What Lu Yuan said was actually the truth. Her innate soul power wasn't high, only at rank 8. After all, a martial soul like the Netherworld Civet could only barely squeeze into the ranks of top-notch martial souls. In terms of strength, the Martial Soul Palace wasn't even comparable to the Star Luo Imperial family's White Tiger martial soul. Compared to powerful top-notch martial souls like the Ice Phoenix, there was actually a big gap. When she met Lu Yuan at the age of 9, Her soul power was only at rank 19. When she was 12 in the original book, her soul power was at rank 27. She was able to reach this point with her innate rank 8 soul power because of her unremitting efforts. Her aptitude was actually the worst among the original Shrek's 7 monsters. If she didn't have the immortal herb, no matter how hard she worked, her soul power would at most be at the same level as Shui Bing'er when she was 18 years old. The reason why she was able to improve so quickly in this life and reach rank 52 at the age of 14 was mostly due to her meeting Lu Yuan. The Life Spirit Crystal evolved her martial soul and increased her aptitude, from the Netherworld Civet to the superb martial soul 9 Lives Lynx. The Narcissus Jade Muscles increased her soul power and increased her aptitude again, reaching the soul ancestor level. The 100,000-year Blue-Silver Emperor's right leg bone greatly increased her physical strength. Her Polychoria dispersed the 10,000-year Dark Knight Demon Tiger's soul shock, allowing Zhu Zhuqing to reach the 4th ring of the 10,000-year soul ancestor level. The Spirit Ascension Pill allowed Zhu Zhuqing to enter the Soul King realm at the age of 14 and become one of the top geniuses in the entire continent. Zhu Zhuqing had many fortuitous encounters along the way, and every one of her adventures had something to do with Lu Yuan. Among Lu Yuan's 4 women, he gave Zhu Zhuqing the most things because she was the weakest. Sometimes, Lu Yuan would consider her first. She was also the one who accompanied Lu Yuan the longest. Except for special circumstances, Lu Yuan would bring her along wherever he went. During her growth, Lu Yuan played a huge role in helping her. Lu Yuan, it's my greatest fortune to have met you in this life. Zhu Zhuqing leaned on Lu Yuan's shoulder and wrapped her arms around his waist. Her red lips parted slightly as she looked at Lu Yuan with deep affection in her eyes. Although this man was a bit of a playboy, he was extremely responsible and treated her very well. He almost spoiled her in the palm of his hand. Basically, he would grant her every request. Zhu Zhuqing was very satisfied to be able to meet him. Lu Yuan pinched Zhu Zhuqing's nose and said with a chuckle, "Heh, since you know that I'm good, then you should be obedient in the future. Don't be so jealous, you little vinegar jar." Right now, you're even more jealous than Cher. Okay, I know, Zhu Zhuqing said softly, and her arms around Lu Yuan tightened. Lu Yuan smiled and rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's head. His eyes once again looked at the competition in the central region. TSK, it's over. Skywater Academy is still very powerful. They really won without breaking a sweat. And from the looks of it, they're hiding a lot of things. Lu Yuan clicked his tongue and sighed as he watched Skywater Academy's team leave the stage. It's over so quickly. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing's face was filled with surprise. From the start of the battle until now, only a few minutes had passed. Yes, it's over. If they didn't give face to the Heaven Do Imperial family, it might have ended even faster. If Skywater Academy is so strong, then the other elemental academies shouldn't be too weak. After the Continental Soul Master Tournament ends, maybe we can buy them all. If we buy them, our Skystar Academy will grow a lot. I want to build the strongest Soul Master Academy on the continent. Lu Yuan gently stroked his chin and said, "But will they be willing? They're doing well. I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to buy them." Zhu Zhuqing said. This requires a certain degree of maneuverability. I already have an idea. You'll know when the time comes. Lu Yuan laughed mischievously. So secretive. You must be up to no good. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing curled her lips and said, Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Lu Yuan wasn't angry. He gently pinched the little kitten's cheeks with a smile on his face. Oh, they're back. Looking at the entrance, Skywater Academy's team was walking towards the resting area. They're back. When Lu Yuan said this, Zhu Zhuqing hurriedly let go of Lu Yuan's arms and sat up straight. Just now, because there was no one around and the other teams were sitting far away from them, she dared to hug Lu Yuan. But now, Skywater Academy's team was obviously coming in their direction. In public, her face was thin and she didn't dare to be too close to Lu Yuan. Especially in front of some outsiders. Holding hands was the limit. Everyone from Skywater Academy rested in the area next to Lu Yuan and the others. They all had smiles on their faces. It was obvious that they were very happy with their victory. Prince Charming, we won. Shui Yue skipped and came in front of Lu Yuan and the others and said charmingly, "Yen, I saw it. You're all very strong." Lu Yuan said with a smile. "Wow, Prince Charming, you can see the situation of the Central Division from here?" Hearing that Lu Yuan could see the Central Division from here, Shui Yue couldn't help but be surprised. This place was at least 300 meters away. "I can see it. My eyesight is better than the average person. I saw your performance just now. You're very strong," Lu Yuan said with a chuckle. "Really?" Hearing Lu Yuan's words of praise, Shui Yue's eyes suddenly narrowed and a pleasantly surprised smile appeared on her face. "Really?" Lu Yuan said softly. "Hee hee." Hearing this, Shui Yue giggled, showing her youthful playfulness. Her eyes turned slightly and looked at Zhu Zhuqing, who was sitting with Lu Yuan, and then at the other 7 people sitting together. A strange light flashed in her eyes. She seemed to have discovered something strange. "Prince Charming, what's the relationship between you and the girl next to you? I feel that you two are very close." Shui Yue asked. "This is my girlfriend, Zhu Zhuqing." Lu Yuan took Zhu Zhuqing's hand and said with a chuckle, "Wow, Prince Charming, you already have a girlfriend. Sad, I originally wanted to pursue Prince Charming, but now there's no hope." Shui Yue's face showed a lost expression. Her small hand stroked her chest as if she had been hit by a blow. Seeing Shui Yue like this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile. This girl was really interesting. Just as he opened his mouth and was about to speak, the voice of the Master of Ceremonies sounded from outside and directly passed into the rest area. The next match is between Heavenly Star Academy and Tsunghui Academy. The match will begin in a quarter of an hour. Both academies, please get ready. Chapter 530. Oh, is it finally our turn? Hearing the MC's voice, the corners of Lu Yuan's lips curled up slightly as he smiled. "Line up." Lu Yuan's indifferent voice rang out. In less than 5 seconds, the 7 people who were originally gathered together quickly formed a neat line. Fu Qinsheng was in first place because he was a spiritual-type soul master and controlled the entire match, so he was in first place. Next was Wang Qiu'er. Wang Qiu'er was the strongest among them. Her golden dragon martial soul was extremely powerful and invincible, so she was in second place. Next was Du Guyang, Ning Rongrong, Ling Wei, Jing Ling, and Jiang Zhu. They lined up in an orderly manner. Wow, their movements are so fast. Shui Yue's icy blue eyes carried a trace of astonishment when she saw the 7 people quickly and neatly forming a long line. Fu Qinsheng's team's discipline was much better than her Skywater Academy's. "It's all right. I've been training them for a few months. If they can't even do this, then wouldn't the training be in vain?" Lu Yuan smiled faintly. "Prince Charming, you must be very strict with your team members." Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Shui Yue asked softly. "No, I'm very gentle with them." Lu Yuan smiled faintly. When he said this, Fu Qinsheng and the others rolled their eyes at the same time. "Like hell I'll believe you. You're such a bad old man. When we were breaking in our tacit understanding, you really criticized us until we were black and blue. Now that I think about it, I'm a little scared. You actually say that you're gentle with us? You're really shameless." Zhu Zhuqing, who was standing at the side, could not help but rub her face. She was impressed by Lu Yuan's ability to lie without batting an eyelid. He was really awesome and did not know what it meant to be embarrassed. "What, am I not gentle with you guys?" Seeing them roll their eyes, Lu Yuan couldn't help but give them a look. "Gentle." Everyone shouted in unison. "Fart." Seeing this scene, Shui Yue couldn't help but laugh. "Prince Charming, you and your team members are so interesting." She scanned the crowd with her ice blue eyes, and there was an unconcealable smile in her eyes. Seeing this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile and said, "Miss Yue, we're about to enter the arena. If you're interested, You can come and watch our competition. I will go. Prince Charming, do your best. Shui Yue clenched her small fist and said, I will. Lu Yuan smiled and nodded. Then, he turned around slightly, and his expression became calm again. His indifferent voice sounded, let's go. As he spoke, he took the lead and walked in front. Zhu Zhuqing followed behind him. Fu Qinsheng and the rest also hurriedly followed. Sister, let's go watch our idols competition. Seeing the figures of Lu Yuan and others walking away, Shui Yue bounced to Shui Bing'er's side and said with a chuckle. Yue, he already has a girlfriend. You heard it just now. No matter how much you like him, there's no result. Looking at her younger sister, Shui Bing'er somewhat helplessly said. Sister, I know. I have already given up on that aspect. Alas, who let our Prince Charming be so outstanding? He actually already has a girlfriend. I'm still a step late. Now, I just want to see the strength of our Prince Charming's team. After all, their team is favored by the elders of Dragon King Palace and 7 Treasures Colored Glaze Sect. Alas, sister, aren't you interested in their strength? You see, Hua Wushuang and his sister from Blazing Fire Academy, Feng Xiaotian from God Wind Academy, Yu Tianxin from Thunder Academy have all gone. Also, other academies have also sent representatives to watch. Sister, let's also go, okay? Shui Yue pulled Shui Bing'er's hand and slightly shook it. Okay then. Shui Bing'er gently sighed. Her ice blue eyes flashed with a strange light. To be honest, she was also very curious about the strength of Lu Yuan and Heavenly Star Battle Team. In that case, let's go. Hearing this, Shui Yue suddenly smiled. She pulled Shui Bing'er's hand and walked towards the central area. Looking at Shui Yue's happy appearance, Shui Bing'er couldn't help but sigh slightly. This girl, has she really completely given up that kind of idea in her heart? Gently shaking her head, Shui Bing'er walked towards the direction of the entrance under the pull of Shui Yue. Under the lead of Lu Yuan, Heavenly Star Battle Team came to the waiting area below the central area. Opposite them was Tsanghui Academy. It was a coincidence that the colors of the two teams were somewhat similar, but the style was different. Tsanghui Academy's uniform was completely silver, and the design was extremely luxurious. While Heavenly Star Academy's white robes were embroidered with silver threads. It was low-key but did not lose its taste. Next, Heavenly Star Academy and Tsanghui Academy, please come on stage and prepare to start the competition. The voice of the MC sounded. Go up, win beautifully. Nodding to Fu Qinsheng, Wang Qiu'er and the others, Lu Yuan said softly. Don't worry, Captain, we will. Fu Qinsheng nodded and said. Big brother, look at Qiu'er's performance. Wang Qiu'er revealed a playful smile. Then I'll wait to see our little Qiu'er's wonderful performance. Looking at Wang Qiu'er's playful smile, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Then if we win beautifully, will Big Brother give us any rewards? Wang Qiu'er asked. What reward does Qiu'er want? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. Qiu'er wants Big Brother to accompany Qiu'er for a day. As for the others, it's up to Big Brother to decide. Wang Qiu'er tapped her chin lightly with her slender fingers and said in a delicate voice. All right, if you can really finish the competition in a minute, I'll accompany little Qiu'er to play for a day. As for the others, the women will each get a face-preserving pill, and the men will each get a longevity pill. How about it? Lu Yuan said with a smile. Hearing this, Fu Qinsheng and the others' eyes lit up. The face-preserving pill and the longevity pill were precious pills. Even if they were from the Dragon King Hall, it was very difficult to get them. If they could get one, it would be a huge profit. Especially Dugu Yang and Jiang Zhu, the two girls who were already 19 years old. They were now in the prime of their lives. If they could take a face-preserving pill at this time and retain their youth forever, it would be an irresistible temptation. It could be said that when Lu Yuan said this, the 7 people's eyes lit up with a raging fire. This competition had to be won beautifully. They had to finish them in a minute. Qiu'er knows that Big Brother is the best. Wang Qiu'er nodded and smiled like a flower. It's time to go up. Fu Qinsheng shouted and led the 7 people from the Heavenly Star Academy to the competition stage. Opposite them, the people from the Tsanghui Academy also went up. The two sides looked at each other and the atmosphere became heavy. Chapter 531. On the Heavenly Star Academy's side, Wang Qiu'er and Ling Wei stood at the front. One of them had a superb martial soul, the Golden Dragon, while the other had a top-grade martial soul, the Terror Claw Bear. Their attacks were terrifying. This was especially so for Wang Qiu'er. While she looked like a young lady, she was ferocious when she fought. As for how ferocious she was, one could refer to Lu Yuan's battle. Wang Qiu'er was a few times weaker. While Wang Qiu'er was only rank 47, her ultimate power meant that her strength was not inferior to a Soul Emperor's. Her punch was extraordinarily powerful. If she could hit the Tsanghui Academy, she would be able to kill them with one punch. This was not a lie. There were not many Soul Masters of the same rank who could take a punch from a Golden Dragon and not be severely injured. Furthermore, Wang Qiu'er's soul power was far above theirs. After Wang Qiu'er and Ling Wei, it was Qin Sheng, the spiritual type Soul Master, who controlled the entire field. Then it was Ning Rongrong and Jiang Zhu. These two auxiliary type Soul Masters were behind Qin Sheng. Du Guyang and Jing Ling were at the back, in charge of protecting Ning Rongrong and Jiang Zhu. The Heavenly Star Academy did not have any defense type Soul Masters. They were a combination of 2 offensive Soul Masters, 2 control type Soul Masters, and 1 agility type Soul Master. This combination was not perfect, but in front of absolute strength, this flaw could be ignored. The Tsanghui Academy's team was also in a formation. Their formation was 1, 2, 1, and 3. Their captain was at the front, and he was also the strongest Soul Master on their team. Wang Qiu'er looked at the Tsanghui Academy's Soul Masters and felt their auras. A look of disdain appeared on her jade-like face. She had the Golden Dragon's perception ability. Even if the other party did not use their martial souls, she could clearly sense the specific strength of those who were below her. Just now, she had sensed the strength of the people on the other side. It turned out that everyone on the other side was weaker than her, and by more than a little. This made her instantly lose any interest in fighting. She only wanted to start immediately and defeat them quickly. This way, she could let her brother play with her for a day. As she thought until here, Wang Qiu'er's lips curled into a smile. She loved being with her brother the most. His gaze shifted to the audience. Lu Yuan found a seat in the waiting area and sat down. He crossed his legs and looked extremely relaxed. Don't you feel heartache for giving away so many medicinal pills all at once? This longevity pill and ageless pill are much more precious than the rising spirit pill. Zhu Zhuqing sat down beside Lu Yuan, her large eyes gently turning as she softly asked. What's there to feel bad about? It's just a few pills. It's nothing. Moreover, it's given to one of our own. Did my heart ache when I gave you the 100,000-year soul bone? Looking at Zhu Zhuqing, Lu Yuan sighed softly and said, Zhuqing, you're still not broad-minded enough. If it were Cher, she wouldn't have asked me such a question. Rewards are one thing, but another is to further buy people's hearts. Rewards and punishments can make them more loyal. Compared to that, a few pills are just a small matter. As long as I have medicinal herbs, I can refine them at any time. The most important thing is people. Kitty, you're not stupid, and you're quite good at scheming. However, when it comes to managing people, you're still lacking. You still have a lot to learn. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing wrinkled her nose slightly and muttered, I'm naturally not as good as Chihiro Snow. My heart isn't as big as his, and can't contain so many things. I only have you in my heart, and I don't care about anything else. I don't want to learn anything in this area. You really don't want to learn? I originally wanted you to go to the Soul Tool Hall to train and help manage some things. When you've grown up, I'll hand the Soul Tool Hall over to you. Since you don't mind, then forget it. I'll hand it over to someone else. If it's Na, she's not bad. Lu Yuan's eyes turned as he spoke softly. No, I'll learn. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing hurriedly spoke. She didn't expect Lu Yuan to have such high hopes for her. She had always wanted to help Lu Yuan, and this was a very good opportunity. Furthermore, she wanted Lu Yuan to know that she wasn't just a pretty face. She was also very capable. Why do you want to learn again? Didn't you say that you don't want to learn just now? Lu Yuan spoke softly. He looked at Zhu Zhuqing with a smile in his eyes. "Mph, I want to learn again. Can't I?" When she saw the smile in Lu Yuan's eyes, she knew that this fellow was deliberately teasing her. She immediately snorted and spoke. "All right, you'll follow me more in the future. Watch how I do things. You're my woman, and the wife of the Dragon King Palace's hallmaster. The Soul Tool Hall will be handed over to you in the future. You'll have to understand a little in this area." Lu Yuan looked into Zhu Zhuqing's eyes and spoke with a serious tone. "All right, I understand." Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing nodded lightly. "That's good. Let's watch the competition. It's about to start." Lu Yuan said softly. "All right." Zhu Zhuqing nodded slightly. Her gaze turned slightly, and suddenly, her eyes focused. "Lu Yuan, look at the Skywater Academy, Godwind Academy, and Thunder Academy. They're all in the spectator area over there. Ah, it seems like they're all here to watch our competition. They want to obtain information." Zhu Zhuqing pointed at the spectator area not far away. Lu Yuan glanced indifferently. Indeed, Shui Bing Shui Yu Hua Wu, and the others were all there. Shui Yu even smiled and waved at him. Lu Yuan smiled and nodded at her. Then, he turned around and said indifferently, "It doesn't matter. There's no harm in letting them obtain information. In the face of absolute strength, all schemes and tricks are useless. As long as we're here, we can sweep through everything." "Ian, you're right." Zhu Zhuqing deeply agreed with Lu Yuan's words. As long as she and Lu Yuan were here, Heavenly Star Academy couldn't possibly lose. Did the other teams in the Heaven Do division have Soul Kings? None, so they didn't have to worry. Even if Lu Yuan didn't appear, as long as she made a move, she could still hang up the entire Heaven Do division. Strength was the only thing that could support everything. "It's starting." Lu Yuan muttered to himself as he looked at the two teams that were already facing each other on the stage. The competition begins. Just as Lu Yuan finished speaking, the voice of the MC in charge of the competition rang out from the stage. As soon as the MC's voice rang out, both teams erupted with a powerful aura. One by one, they possessed their martial souls, and soul rings began to appear one after another. When the Heavenly Star Battle team finished releasing their soul rings, everyone's eyes widened. They were all astonished. Chapter 532. In the arena, Wang Qiuer's body shone with golden light. Golden scales started to crawl up her cheeks. There was also a dazzling golden scale in the middle of her forehead that flickered with bright light. Her white and tender hands were also covered in scales, and they turned into extremely sharp golden dragon claws. This was the dragon form skill that all high-ranked dragons possessed. A dragon's roar rang out, and a huge golden dragon projection stood silently behind Wang Qiuer. Its huge dragon wings flapped slightly, and a strong dragon's aura filled the arena. Yellow, and purple soul rings rose from her feet. 4 beautiful soul rings rippled and shone brightly. Wang Qiuer possessed a superb martial soul, the Golden Dragon. She was a rank 47 assault-type soul ancestor. Beside Wang Qiuer, Ling Wei's body shone with a brownish-yellow light. This light slowly condensed into a huge brown bear behind Ling Wei. This bear was different from ordinary bear-type martial souls. It had a pair of long and sharp dark golden claws. It was the Terraclaw Bear, a top-ranked beast soul whose offensive strength surpassed that of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. When the Terraclaw Bear appeared, Ling Wei's body grew by more than a foot. His arms and body became much thicker, and his skin became brownish-yellow in color. Ling Wei's hands turned into bear paws, and a pair of long and sharp claws grew out of them. They flickered with a dazzling cold light, and it wasn't hard to imagine how terrifying their offensive strength was. 4 yellow, and purple soul rings rose from Ling Wei's body, and a strong aura was released. Ling Wei's martial soul was the Terror Claw Bear. He was a rank 44 assault-type soul ancestor. Behind Wang Qiu and Ling Wei, a guqin suddenly appeared in Zither Sheng's hands. This guqin was about 1.2 meters long and 30 centimeters wide. It shone brightly, and there were even phoenix carvings on it. It was exceptionally beautiful. It was different from an ordinary 7-string guqin. This guqin only had 6 strings. It was a variant of the Alcade guqin, the 6-string demonic guqin. The 6-string demonic guqin was a top-ranked tool soul that possessed both spiritual control and offensive strength. Zither Sheng sat down and caressed the 6-string demonic guqin. 4 yellow, and purple soul rings rose from his body. As the guqin sounded, an indescribable spiritual undulation spread. Qin Sheng's martial soul was the 6-stringed demonic zither, and he was a rank 45 mind-type soul ancestor. After Fu Qinsheng released his martial spirit, Ning Rongrong and Dugu Yang also released their martial spirits. In Ning Rongrong's right hand, there was an elegant and gorgeous 9-storied pagoda. It was the strongest support-type martial soul after its evolution, the 9 treasures glazed pagoda. If the 7 treasures glazed pagoda was slightly inferior to the 9-hearted begonia, then the 9 treasures glazed pagoda was definitely not inferior to the 9-hearted begonia. It could be considered the strongest auxiliary-type martial soul. At the same time, yellow, purple, and purple soul rings rose from her body. Dugu Yang's body emitted an emerald green light. After being possessed by her martial soul, her snake tail turned into a flood dragon's tail. 2 emerald green horns appeared on her head, and her body emitted a faint dragon's aura. Layers of green mist diffused from her body, and 4 yellow, and purple soul rings appeared below her. Ning Rongrong, a rank 45 support-type soul ancestor. Dugu Yang, a rank 47 control-type soul ancestor. At the same time, Jingling and Jiang Zhu also released their martial souls, the skeleton and the healing staff respectively. Yellow, and purple soul rings rose from their bodies. They were respectively rank 38 and rank 36. After the martial spirit possession was completed, the Heavenly Star team's astonishing strength was completely displayed. 5 soul ancestors and 2 soul elders, all of them had the best combination of soul rings. This immediately shocked the audience and many of the contestants. On the other hand, the Tsanghui Academy team was opposite the Heavenly Star Academy team. Except for the captain who was a soul ancestor, the rest were all soul elders, and one of them didn't even have the best combination of soul rings. When the 2 sides were compared, the huge disparity in strength was immediately highlighted. What's the point of fighting? Looking at the strength displayed by the Heavenly Star Academy team, Feng Xiaotian couldn't help but exclaim. With such a disparity in strength, the Tsanghui Academy would definitely lose. Just the competition of momentum was already one-sided. It was hard to say if the Tsanghui Academy could even withstand a wave of attacks from the Heavenly Star Academy team. The Heavenly Star battle team is so strong. 5 soul ancestors and 2 soul elders. I'm afraid that this combination has surpassed all of the other battle teams here. Hua Wushuang couldn't help but say as she watched the scene on the stage. His expression was dignified. Originally, the Heavenly Star Academy already had the unbelievably strong Lu Yuan. In the end, their team members were also so strong. It was really despairing. His sister's arranged battle was probably going to be lost without a doubt. She didn't even have the slightest chance of winning. Hua Wushuang thought to himself. He looked at Hua Wu. Sure enough, Hua Wu's expression was so dignified that it was about to drip water. Her fists were clenched tightly, and her eyes were filled with unwillingness. Looking at the strength of the Heavenly Star Academy team, she knew that she was going to lose without a doubt. However, her competitive spirit made her heart filled with unwillingness. Ever since she saw Lu Yuan's strength, her heart was filled with admiration. At the same time, she also wanted to fight with Lu Yuan and defeat him. But now, It was very unlikely that she would be able to achieve this goal. How could she be willing in her heart? Yu Tianxin had an even bigger reaction than Hua Wu. He clenched his fists tightly, and his nails pierced his palms. Blood dripped from his hands. His face was filled with madness and malevolence. Lu Yuan, I will definitely defeat you. I definitely will. His eyes were bloodshot. He stared at the stage with resentment, as if he wanted to find a flaw in the Heavenly Star Academy team. Not far away, Shui Bing'er sighed softly. Her expression was dignified. In the situation where Lu Yuan and his girlfriend didn't go on stage, the Heavenly Star Academy actually had 5 soul ancestors and 2 soul elders. If Lu Yuan and his girlfriend also went on stage, then wouldn't they have at least a full soul ancestor lineup? After all, if they didn't go on stage, their strength would definitely be more powerful. This thought made Shui Bing'er's heart beat faster. This kind of strength was a bit too strong. No wonder the 7 Treasures Glazed Sect's Sect Master Ning and the Dragon King Palace's Elder Poison Douluo were so optimistic about the Heavenly Star Academy. It turned out that their strength had reached such a level. It was really a bit frightening. No wonder Lu Yuan looked so relaxed and didn't care who his opponent was. If their Heavenly Water Academy had a full soul ancestor lineup, they would also be like Lu Yuan. No matter who the opponent was, they wouldn't care at all. Sister, Prince Charming's team is so strong. Just as Shui Bing'er was sighing, Shui Yu'er pulled Shui Bing'er's hand. Her small mouth was slightly open, and there was a trace of unconcealable shock on her pretty face. Chapter 533. They are indeed very strong. So strong that it's a little shocking, Shui Bing'er muttered to herself with a tinge of fear in her voice. I didn't expect Prince Charming's team to have so many soul ancestors. Ah, there are already 5 of them. If Prince Charming and his girlfriend are included, wouldn't that be a full lineup of soul ancestors? Shui Yu'er said with some surprise. Yes, this is the team that the 2 elders thought highly of. They are indeed very strong. Shui Bing'er sighed softly. Elder sister, if we meet Prince Charming's team, wouldn't they be very likely to lose? Shui Yu'er said. Yes, that's why we need to observe and understand the situation. We need to come up with some countermeasures. I think the other academies have the same idea as us. Shui Bing'er said. Yes, yes. Elder sister, you're right. Shui Yu'er lightly nodded her head. In the VIP area, the various leaders were also watching the competition below. When they saw the arrangement of soul rings on the Heavenly Star Academy's team, they were all astonished. Sitting in the VIP area, the sallow-faced Snowy Night Emperor squeezed out a smile and said to Ning Fengji and Du Gubo beside him, "Is this the team that the 2 elders thought highly of? Their strength is indeed extraordinary. That's natural. The truly powerful people haven't even gone up yet." Hearing the Snowy Night Emperor's words, Du Gubo smiled faintly with a trace of pride. This was their Dragon King Hall's team. Ning Fengji also smiled faintly, but didn't reply. Mr. Dugu, if the information I received is correct, the Emperor Dragon who hasn't gone up should be the Hall Master of the Dragon King Hall, right? As he said that, the Snowy Night Emperor's gaze was fixed on Du Gubo. To ordinary people, Lu Yuan's identity as the Hall Master of the Dragon King Hall was a top secret. Even the leaders of many powers didn't know that Lu Yuan was the Hall Master of the Dragon King Hall. But this definitely didn't include the Heaven Do imperial family. The Snowy Night Emperor had a better understanding of the Dragon King Hall's situation. He also knew that Long Xiaoyao was in the Dragon King Hall. But don't forget who Long Xiaoyao's subordinate was. Yes, Your Majesty. The Emperor Dragon who didn't go on stage is Hall Master Lu Yuan of the Dragon King Palace. Du Gubo didn't answer. Instead, it was Ning Fengji who revealed the matter with a faint smile. Hearing Ning Fengji's words, the Snow Night Emperor nodded and asked, Mr. Dugu, is it true that 1 pill can increase one's lifespan by 5 years? As soon as he said that, even Ning Fengji and Sarkaz, who had been quietly waiting at the side, couldn't help but look over. This is naturally true. This seat has already said that this pill was personally refined by my Hall Master. My hall master is an alchemy master and can refine a lot of medicinal pills. Sect Master Ning should be the most clear about this point. Even Sect Master Ning's beloved daughter has enjoyed this spirit ascension pill. Douluo spoke with a light tone. Is that true? Sect Master Ning? Snowy Knight Heavenly Emperor looked at Ning Fengji. Replying to your majesty, it is indeed true. The spirit ascension pill refined by Hall Master Lu is extremely effective. It can increase one's soul power rank. After my daughter took 5 pills, she continuously increased 3 ranks in the Soul Ancestor realm. Ning Fengji said. Then, does that mean that each spirit ascension pill can really increase one's lifespan by 5 years? Hearing Ning Fengji's words, the Snowy Knight Emperor's voice was filled with excitement. His body wasn't good to begin with, and he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to hold on for more than a few years. This spirit ascension pill was really a life-saving medicine for him. Mr. Douluo, when will the spirit ascension pill be sold? This emperor would also like to buy some. Just as the Snowy Knight Emperor finished speaking, Ning Fengji's voice rang out, if the spirit ascension pill is to be sold, please be sure to reserve a few for my 7 treasures glazed sect. Ning Fengji also needed the spirit ascension pill because the bone Douluo and sword Douluo were already very old. At most, they could only live for another 20 to 30 years. If the 7 treasures glazed sect didn't have a new titled Douluo to replace them after 20 to 30 years, then they would be going downhill. But if they could obtain the spirit ascension pill, then it would be different. At the very least, it would allow Uncle Jian and Uncle Jiyu to live for another 10 to 20 years. This could be said to be of great significance to the 7 treasures glazed sect. Haha, Your Majesty and Sect Master Ning, don't worry. This seat will naturally convey your requests to the Hall Master. It's just that the ingredients used for the spirit ascension pill are very particular, and it is also very difficult to refine. So, this seat can't guarantee how much can be given to the 2 of you. Douluo said. Of course, everything will of course depend on Hall Master Lu's wishes. I wonder if Hall Master Lu has the time recently. This emperor would also like to meet such a young elite. The Snowy Knight Emperor chuckled. Hearing this, Douluo, Ning Fengji, and Sakas raised their eyebrows at the same time. The 3 of them were all old and experienced people. The moment the Snowy Knight Emperor said this, they knew what he wanted to do. With regards to this, the 3 of them had different thoughts. Is the Emperor trying to rope in the Dragon King Hall? Ning Fengji's eyes were deep as thoughts ran through his mind. Right now, the Snowy Knight Emperor was unwell. Even many healing-type soul masters could barely maintain his health. From the looks of it, he didn't have many years left to live. While the Crown Prince, Xue Qinghe, was capable, he was still young after all. Whether he could subdue his subjects and lead the entire Heaven Do Empire was still unknown. Even if he could control the Heaven Do Empire, it was still uncertain whether he could deal with the Martial Soul Palace and the Sionra Empire in the future. At this time, if he could rope in the Dragon King Hall, with Lu Yuan's miraculous pill refining skills, the Snowy Knight Emperor might be able to extend his lifespan. He could also obtain the support of the Dragon King Hall, which had the abilities of several titled Douluo. This way, the Heaven Do Empire's imperial family would be more secure. Don't forget why the Heaven Do Empire was able to maintain its current status even though its military strength was so much weaker than the Sionra Empire. Firstly, it was because the Martial Soul Palace intervened to suppress the conflict between the 2 empires. Secondly, it was because the Heaven Do Empire had 7 great soul master sects. More accurately speaking, the original 3 great soul master sects were all in the Heaven Do Empire. Among them, the 7 treasures glazed sect had always supported the imperial family. It was also because of this that the Heaven Do Empire could barely contend with the Sionra Empire. Looking at the Snowy Knight Emperor's current behavior, it was obvious that he wanted to rope in the Dragon King Hall like he did with the 7 treasures glazed sect. But was it so easy to rope in Lu Yuan? As he thought about it, Ning Fengji couldn't help but shake his head. Douluo glanced at the Snowy Knight Emperor and muttered to himself. He didn't have any prejudice against the Heaven Do Empire's imperial family. Before Lu Yuan came, His relationship with the Heaven-Do Empire's imperial family was quite good. He even helped Xuexing attack Lu Yuan, but was beaten up by Long Xiaoyao. Now that he had joined the Dragon King Hall and was loyal to Lu Yuan, he didn't reject the idea of the Dragon King Hall cooperating with the Heaven-Do Empire's imperial family. In fact, he even agreed. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.